Oh, god damn it. Press the button. Where are you? There. Yes! Okay, Jesus. Cool. Don't you love having a timer that just relies on manual intervention anyway? It's amazing. It's so professional. You know, if I get good at streaming, I should run my own, like, film studio, right? That would be perfect. Hey, Gufflecard, good to see you tonight. It's been a long time no see. Hope you've been well. I'm on Final Fantasy V now. Yeah, exactly. Feel free to give me an update too if you like. Like, I remember your work was picking up in curatorship as well. Oh, hey Kelly, thanks for that. It's good to see you. 2 months is pretty good. Nothing interesting? Oh well. I'd say the most interesting thing that happened to me at work is that we now officially have a backup plan in case some servers that are hosted in Russia stop transmitting data for whatever reason. Now that's... I've never had to write something as an alternative for that before. But it's terrifying. I love living in 2022. The decade of the 20s, the new 20s, the roaring 20s, the coughing 20s. Roaring is it like this is sounds like an odd term, right? But roarer is a word for like a horse that sucks in air into its chest, a wind roarer or something, and then cough it out later. And it's not super bad for the horse, like it won't kill them immediately, but it's a bad habit, right? That's a bad thing. You don't want them to do that. And so it's a bit of a stretch, but the really roaring 20s does work. Terrible 20s, exactly, Kelly. Okay, getting into CIP, I remember as well. I made some recommendations, like primarily Keymaker and Pillars 1. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, I'm not going to watch more Pillars, 1 or 2, until I finish them myself. That's a friend of the stream cribbled exactly what they said. They're like, I was enjoying it. I enjoyed it so much, I decided to not watch and play instead. I'm like, all right, well, I'll see you in real life for our tabletop RPGs. You went down into a deep hole. Hell yes, that's good. And like, not just because you are now enjoying something that I enjoy and now that's great, but also, if you went into a deep hole, it presumably meant you enjoyed the whole experience. And I get excited and pretty happy when people are like, yeah, I had a good time. I did XYZ thing. It was great. That's just worth it. I get vicarious joy when people are doing things they like. So, I hope the deep hole was a lot of fun. You treat that hole with respect, sir. Oh my god. Hey, Luxie, you did make it. Gufflecut's here too. The GOGs have going on right now, so every Ultima game, every Might and Magic Lands of Lore, Arcanum. There are so many that have little pockets of people who are massive fans of these pieces of media, and it's affected them deeply over time. Oh, was it soup? That would be bad. I know there's likely worse things to spill on yourself, but soup is pretty bad. Yeah, well, maybe you're the snack, huh? It's entirely possible. Oh, the gold box game. Oh, that would be an experience. Watching me continually fail at the gold box games for original D&D. Holy crap. I know Shadow over Mystara is much more popular than it should be even in modern years. Does not go on snack. Yeah, I suppose. I've seen a lot of shitty food porn of people making dinner out of snacks. Flaming hot Cheetos aren't that good. I've had them, I'm sorry. They don't need to be included in every awful TikTok meal you make. I understand you're just chasing clout via the algorithm, and I admire you for working in that way, but still, it's not worth it. It's been a relatively normal Monday today. Actually, like, since I was busy and too busy to do a study stream on Saturday, and won't be available for a study stream this coming Saturday either. I'll be at a friend's wedding. I should confess that aside from doing a very small amount of regular work and attending Pathfinder on Saturday, I feel like I've done nothing except play Elden Ring and die in Elden Ring over and over. And that's good. It's making jumping into other games like this beautiful CRPG, Pillars of Eternity, a bit of a stretch. I was talking to a friend on the phone about it. Yes, a phone call. Really? He's one of the millennials that likes talking on the phone, so he's one of the few people that can get me to do it. Golem King. Sorry, the cup? This cup? This cup. This one here? It's a stress toy Emma got me. It's got a dog in it. You squeeze it and the dog comes out. It's very cute. It's very funny. It's called a pup in a cup. And, like, here's the thing. You can make him slowly arise. Hello? But at some point, it will flick out. This is not perfect. Okay, let's see if we can just a little bit more. And now. Sir, free me. Anyway, they don't have a Dashin version. I mean, it'd be hard to tell, right? It's pretty cute, yeah. I'll think about doing nothing, get back to the cup. Alright. Yeah, okay, so Pillars 2, Pathfinder. The Pathfinder one's great. Wrath of the Righteous, like, I finished it. I think it was before it came out last time we spoke. I finished it, it was fucking great. I really enjoyed the mythic path I went through. When more DLC is released, when I get bored of Elden Ring, and then Stranger of Paradise, and then Cyberpunk, I've got a lot of games on my to-do list, that I need to work around university, and being a giant slut. These things take time. God. Luxie, it would be too wobbly. So you'd have to squeeze a lot at the bottom, right? And it would have to, like, to flop out like that, it'd have to pop up and then flop around. Yeah, wobble around. That'd be fun, though. There's always the option of starting a 5e group. Even if you haven't played it before and you don't understand the rules particularly well, Solasta Crown of the Magister is apparently an accurate translation of 5th Ed rules, so you can give that a go. You can teach people, and then if you mistake a rule together, you're still doing it as a group experience, and that's worth it. Absolutely. Otherwise, lots of online games. Heaps of online games. If you look for online games in LGBT-friendly spaces, they're also more likely to give you options where you don't need to show your face, if that is a line for you, and that is, for some. Some people say that they're only interested in playing by post. It's less common now, but it's certainly a thing. Now, I simply would spend way too long chatting, but let's actually play a bit of the game, shall we? Because I want to get 3 pillars. It's exciting. There's a lot to show off. I mean, like, the main theme is great, but you will get bored of it eventually. Emma is out of the house tonight. And that's not to say that now I can get up to mischief. I get to do as much mischief as I'd like in my regular life. I'm just saying that I'm going to drink this coffee. And she'll never know. That is potentially the type of mischief that I'd get up to. And steal a slice of a leftover pizza that the two of us have been eating since Saturday. If a friend who has been to the restaurant you're going to says you probably could get away with a medium, listen to them, by God. Because I got 2 larges instead of 2 mediums, and I feel like I've eaten essentially nothing other than pizza for a couple of days now. And I like pizza. This shouldn't be an issue. It's just I'm craving the ability to cook something new and different. But it would be a waste. Things would go off. You could package a pizza and give it to other people who in need, but that's kind of hard to do on a small scale. You know what they say, anarchists don't understand logistics. Amazing. Anyway, we're on the deck of many things. The pizza is very good, though. It's fantastic pizza. That's why I get it. It's all the way on the other side of town, and I bring it home. Like a hunter returning it beautiful. Like some sort of beautiful trophy, right? Actually, no. It's not a trophy. It's game. We're eating it on purpose. Anyway, we are on the deck of many things, because we just finished dunnage. We went through. We talked to a bunch of people. Talked to a bunch of pirates. Hung out with the pirates. Had a good time. And then met Captain Thanic, who...
Finding everything to your liking, Captain.
Who is the captain of the Deck of Many Things. Which is a bit of DLC for Pillars 2. Where you can just buy bits of magic items. New stuff. Quite an interesting ship you've got here, Captain. He pats his desk lovingly.
Isn't it, though? And older than any of us aboard to boot. So Tara keeps the old tub looking like new, more or less. You might have noticed the Engwithan imagery in the beams, or the copper wiring. I suspect the deck, the hull at least, dates back to that ancient fabled empire.
I love it when technology... Coffee at 7 p.m? Yeah, Kelly, that's the thing. It is absolutely mischief. I want to stay up potentially slightly too late tonight. After stream, I'll likely do a little bit more cleaning, and then either boot up Elden Ring or do some more of my homework. I started assignment planning last night, and I enjoyed the process so much that I want to continue doing assignment planning. Like a fucking nerd. I'm going to have to take some sort of recreational drugs to keep my balance in check. I also love here, where we've got an explicit, obvious example of technology is pictured not as a timeline, but exists in multiple states. There's copper wiring in this ship from the ancient Engwithan Empire. Fucking great. Seems pretty unlikely.
Not that I'd make any grand claims about its import. Probably just an old merchant craft lucky enough to survive whatever brought Engwith low.
How did you come to be the captain of the deck?
Not just the decks, but the hull and the masts too.
His laughter rings like a bell. Sigh.
I came to Adir a century gone by now and boarded the deck as a wee lad. A stowaway even. Might have thrown me overboard, the old captain, were it not for the shine.
He taps the luminous horns projecting from his scalp.
Few sailors go seeking Androzire. Was the first time my being godlike had caused me aught but suffering.
Yeah, you see, Kelly... I finished the planning. I'd actually be finding sources and beginning to write the fucking thing. This is 3 weeks early. I don't need to do this. We have done these conversations.
But of course.
But when we listened to them last time, I was passing out. So, anyway. I should be going.
Safe travels.
All right. So, the Deck of Many Things is interesting. You'll notice that when we first came here, it offered, hey, do you want to fight these people? And you can. You can fight them, and you can get not all, but quite a lot of the magic items you'd get from purchasing by fighting them. Bauble. The Lagerfeth stands in the corner, its head turned to the side that it might track you with one bulbous eye. A large bucket of briny water rests tucked into the corner behind it, a sponge just breaking its dark surface. The wilder gestures of the nearby shelves and what may be an invitation to peruse its wares.
How do you know if these things want you to pet them?
It hisses through needle-sharp teeth. Unusual ship, isn't it? The creature gurgles, head shifting slightly before sliding a webbed hand down the side of its head. Strange to see a Lagerfeth here? The Lagerfeth gurgles again. Wouldn't you rather be in the sea than on it? It gurgles. You don't say much, do you? It gurgles. Well, Adair, Takehu, and Shirty loved it. Alright, well, let's peruse its wares. Now again, I'm not big into shopping and perfection of your build and making sure we know exactly what's going on. We're here for the story, but there are cool things like this ring of mule's wit. Amazing. I love -8 intellect. And a collar that gives you 2 spells and a spell and a chance to reflect spells. Yeah, so cool stuff, right? But not particularly useful. Maybe if you have a lot of money to spare, you can come back. A broad-shouldered armor stands before the crates and racks of armors and weapons. The cool tones of her skin and the geometric patterns in her oil-stained smock mark her as a native of Rautai. She smiles at your approach, displaying her sharp teeth, and bows her head.
Greetings. I assume Fennec explained our little floating trading floor, so I'll cut through the fat. I'm Tara, purveyor of fine armors and weapons, whether for kith or ship. What are you in the market for?
This is an unusual vessel.
He is, isn't he? Looks like a junk now, but that's mostly my doing. Underneath the decades of patches and filth, there's some truly strange shit. Copper, Audra, Adiran runes, Valian pipes.
It's a masculine ship. She shakes her head.
Best guess is that he came out of old Engwith, modified over the millennia by whoever crewed him.
It's interesting to have, like, a masculine ship for once, but I mean, ships generally don't have gender identities, so if this ship does, we can respect it.
I wanted to rename him the Junky Junk of Junk, but Fennec wouldn't have it.
The ship's a him?
Trust me on that. I know him inside and out.
Interesting. How'd you end up on the deck?
A question I ask myself often.
Fair.
The simple version is that the deck dropped anchor in Rawatai looking for a blacksmith. I was a blacksmith looking to get out of Rawatai. Didn't know a Bolin from a Baleen at the time, but you learn fast at sea or you sink.
What's the less simple version?
Considerably more complicated and entirely none of your business.
Ah, what an interesting way to add depth to a character without having all of it written out. I suspect that you could use this in your other NPCs in games. Don't we all of us immediately, all 6 of us watching, and at Jimbles, immediately want to know exactly what the less simple version of the story is? But if the GM hasn't written it beforehand and doesn't feel like they can improvise something interesting, just do something like this. Instead of saying no or I won't tell you, add in a considerably more complicated. And you've added depth to a character even if you don't have too much to add to it, you know? And that's worth it. That's fun. That's deep world building. Or it's the reflection of the moon in a puddle and it looks much deeper than it actually is. Oh, hey, Kibbled. Good to see you tonight. Yeah, it looks so... It's just infinitely better. It's why a lot of the time playing 1, I'm saying, man, can't wait till we get till 2. It's true, it's fun. You seem to have a Lagerfaith in the corner?
That's Bobble. Not particularly bright, but he can count coin well enough.
Hey, we've even got a name.
Or she. I've never been sure, and I'm disinclined to check.
And yet you know what gender the ship is. Its name is Bauble.
That's what we call him. He likes things with a bit of shine to them.
Let me see what you have then.
Peruse at your pleasure.
Cool belts. Cool gloves. Cool shoes. Minus 10 to all defensive. Oh my god. But again, that's not so bad. You can have some of these as well. Should buy the arcane lanterns. Just 10% travel speed on a slot that isn't used by anything else, so it's worth it. But in the end, it's quite a lot of money. We don't have an infinite amount of money. Let's get out of here. There's honestly nothing more interesting happening here. The ship is a place to buy cool things, not always. Oh, 3 stars for you, Luxie. Just a pro tip, Luxie, you know these VODs are recorded, and so your shame will be permanent on the internet. And I hope you enjoyed the ASMR of me slurping. You're very, very welcome. The deck of... the deck of many things is also a really, really, really hard fight. If you choose to pick a fight with them, they will wreck your shit. And that's pretty funny. It just gives you another end-ish game naval battle to do if you really enjoy the naval battles. Which, for anyone who really enjoys tabletop combat, I can see why. It's all narrative text, it's not terrible. But there were some people who were thinking, I'd like it to be a bit more full of a derelict ship. Like, full of action, maybe? But, you know, I love these. Not just because it gives me a chance to continue talking at all of you, my beautiful captive audience. Baedel points at the ship in the distance. Galleon, Captain. A three-master? Oh, it was. Naught remains of the ship's foremast save a splintered stump, and the bowsprit has been sheared off. Sierra Cribbler, that's the work of pirates. Punjabi most likely, and probably the upstarts if they're raiding this close to Valian patrol routes. Chippy leads in close. They'll have taken away any gold, but they might have left surprise. Kavita's brow is damp with sweat. We shouldn't stick around. If the Valians see us plundering one of their ships, they won't give us a chance to explain. Pull up alongside it. We'll salvage whatever's left. You take a small boarding party and scour the galleon. Most of the cargo and all of its crew are missing, but you do find several barrels of fresh water and a few sacks of dried rice and coarse meal. Your competent hands make quick work of it all. You return to the ship and order Baedel to set sail. So this was a check for your deckhand skill. Baedel salutes. Very well. The crew scrambles to their post, eager to be clear of the area. Once the ship has disappeared behind you, the crew abandons nervous glances for relieved laughter. If our morale wasn't already maxed, that would have been a lot more useful. There are ghost ship battles. Absolutely there is. There's also there was also the opportunity to just fire cannons at it and get some extra gunnery experience. Which, funny, just not super useful. Oh no! Not pirate hunters. We love pirate hunters. Now, it's been a little while, so let's do a naval combat just so we can show off what it looks like. I'll note that if we start to lose, I'm going to ram them. Or when we get bored, I'm going to ram them. But Crookspur are slavers. It's absolutely worth killing them. This is how we treat all slavers. Again, we have this interface, left, right. And then we choose, turn by turn, what we want to do. That's honestly it. We are 257 meters away from them. Let's turn to port. To send our port side at them. The opponent's ship comes about with all possible haste, though the opposing crew is fleet of foot. They're turning a vessel the Crookspur vessel still takes time. This is because their ship is so large, it requires multiple turns to turn. Which is going to give us a chance to fire the cannons! Use Grape Shot, which deals very low damage to the actual ship, but it will harm the people on the ship, which is good because we are going to fight them. I'm going to ram them and we're going to attack them, so we might as well kill a few before we do. Fires the cannons. Cheers, matey. So now they're stopping for whatever reason. We're going to do a full turn. And we can fire the port cannons, which are not as good, but still funny. We've only got one turn until the other cannons reload. Miss. Oh, good job. Alright, well look, they're doing their best. I trust them. They're going to be fine. Oh no, they're firing at us. Whoa. 9 damage to hull. Like, this can be very exciting. When you want to spend more time, like, focusing on the fights. And... I mean, cool. Nice to deal damage to the sails. But it makes them, like, much harder for them to... maneuver in combat, but in the end, like, does that matter? When my main tactic is to fire a couple of times, and when we start to lose, which is getting closer, I ram them. Otherwise, I sail around and fire more cannon shot at them. Sadly, there's no time to take a nap in the middle of battle. I'm not a big fan of napping anyway. Well, they just move people around, which is an interesting way to use turn. Fire the cannons. I'm simply wondering if Okay. Well, yeah, I clicked the wrong button, so I think we're going to ram them. Raking hit. Oh, it's pretty bad. At full speed ahead. And full speed ahead. And full speed ahead. Your ship shoos through the water, barreling down the backs of waves and surging up the face. Sea spray drenches the main deck. With a deafening crunch, the compensation and corkscrew vessel collide, sending a shard of wood and enemy soldiers flying. It's fine. We only dealt 6 hull damage. It's totally fine. Now, we need to actually fight him. So, like, that was vaguely disappointing because our cannons and our cannoneers were not enough to get more than about 40 to 50% chance of hitting each shot. They had better cannons, more crew, a better ship in general. We're just not powerful enough to beat them in a ship-to-ship combat yet, so we're going to cheese them by going to the point where we've got, like, more of an advantage. Yidwin and Maya, and Shiza, of course, Seraphim and Constantin. We've got our whole party. Like, all companions. If we move forward a little bit, we can pull out a zap here. A good friend Adair can move close. I'm gonna do it real time but very slow to see Kibble can see how much nicer the whole game got in between. So Slave is now multi-classed. Move a little closer, buddy. Get this zap off.
Happy to oblige.
See if we can, yeah, do that.
I hear you.
Please use Holy Radiance. We need to keep Valor alive because if she dies, we lose immediately. This is what happens when you abduct a baby, you know? You need to look after that baby, otherwise you'll be a jerk. I'm just sad that we can't help this devoted slave.
Seeing trails.
I know you're on low health, Kehu, but you need to live just a little bit longer. You've got a regen on you if you want.
How may I help?
Aloth, my friend, my beautiful friend. Let's just get that off. And Adair, who is now a rogue fighter, can finish that fight.
Oh?
Don't cast it, buddy.
Will they build themselves?
Get him. We're good to go.
Vengati, is that you?
You know, Takehu, you're on very low health. You're gonna be okay. Speed up the combat speed a little.
Yes?
I'm pretty sure all the enemies are dead now. Unless one of them is invisible, which does happen. Interesting. There he is. Okay.
I reap what I sow.
There we go. No, I'm afraid not killed. We've got, as Luxy said, we've got Adair and Aloth. Palagina is in the game, but she does not want to join us because we kind of screwed her over at the end of the last one. We don't need to share the coins. They're at full morale, and I hate the fact that you get no benefit after morale is maxed. Otherwise, it's just, thanks for all the money, lol. Yeah, we don't need those. Otherwise, eat shit, slavers. You deserve to die. And she wasn't thrilled, and it is a shame that we haven't been able to, like, get her to join us. But hey, you do what you can. None of our people injured, several of our people gained a level. Now Worthless Idiot is a expert navigator, and Rumdum Regere is an extra good deckhand, which is pretty good. Happy to see it. We're still going to repair for a little bit. Yeah, see, we don't have any other lens. Yeah, always fun to kill some slavers, but returning Adair and Aloth. And depending on how we treat them, has significant changes. How we treat them in Pillars 1, what they do at the end of their quests, has significant changes to how they show up here, because they're not strictly happy with no issues. Be a Carter. I think that guy... We have a quest for it. Yeah, bounty. Be a Carter. Well, we have to kill. We'll catch him, don't worry. Yeah, I'm also spending time repairing. Thumbstone, rice, mouth char, fire kelp. Alright. Now let's go find Biakara. $25, $40, $43, $55, that should be fine, right? Ah, lost him. That's what I get. It's pretty arrogant of me. Northeastern coast of Hasongo. Oh well. Palashina was pretty cool, but like she said, do I want to do this thing? And we're like, alright, try this thing. And then it turned out very poorly, so she didn't like that at all. Eat some rice. That's my next request, okay? We'll lose a very small amount of morale per day, but still. She was pretty powerful, and I liked, like, there she is on the loading screen. But honestly, I don't regret the fact, Bane, I don't regret the fact that we have these people.
Let's take a look.
Like Palashina and Adair, and especially Adair
Yes?
and Aloth, are great characters. I'm glad they're returning. I'm his grieving mother, even though I recognize it's actually pretty perfect that she's not, that her story is ended.
Wait.
You know? But
Look there.
I liked it. She was great. I want her back. So I recognize it's probably not the greatest idea to just fake another story for her or drag her into the events here. At least several of the other characters explicitly had goals to leave and go do things, and Grieving Mothers was like, I'm done now.
Yeah?
I needed to enter holding at the Deerwood to pay for my own sins, essentially. Yeah, her story was very off the whole, exactly. And there were other, like, you could make an argument for, about as much argument for having, well, you don't know the full plot of Pillars 2 yet, but let's just say it would make sense if we had more of, I can't remember, endurance. And it's a good thing we don't. We don't want more Durance. Just stop being invisible, dude. Seriously. Do something with it, or just drop it. Yeah.
Something I can do?
Direct signal? Yeah, exactly. We're still Slam Shadows.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure. Take that!
Yeah, okay, so plot-wise, Kibbled, I am sorry to spoil it. I was trying pretty hard not to mention it at all while we were hanging out, right? We successfully successfully deal with the enemies of the Leaden Key, and then you're left, you would retire to Cadnua and just try and live out your life as a lord, depending on how well you raise the 2 stats it has, right? And that's supposed to be it. That's essentially the end. The game's ending slides tell you about what happens to the Deerwood, maybe a little bit further on, and it would have been a good story. I was fairly happy with it when it ended in that way. And then a sequel was announced, and Dizzy-Were the Shark. I think you're also one, aren't you? Nope. Okay. Then you're, like, remember that giant statue? That giant statue that are the endless depths of Odnor? Well, there you are. We kind of took offense to that. Well, Aethers seemed to possess the giant statue, rip itself out of the ground. We're just gonna port you. Aethers seemed to take offense at the fact that there's a giant statue there. Possess it, rip out of the ground, and stop on the castle and kill everyone nearby, everyone who was there, including you. But as Luxa said, Bereth said, "Hey, we're not done. Could you be alive a little bit more and do something about Aethers?" And Bereth also kind of refuses to admit exactly what's going on. They're a divinity. They're not going to be plain-faced. I'm not going to tell you everything. That's ridiculous. But you make the choice to do something. It's hilarious. The game allows you to say, "No, I'm not doing your busy work. Fuck you," and then you get put back on the wheel as a cat for a little bit of time. Then you die. And it doesn't tell you more about what the game's going to be like. I think that's funny. Oh yeah, we can talk to Wodaka again. The next best time to do it is after a pot beat, and we will. Aethys is not a ship. Aethys is like he steals a giant statue that is in the endless paths of Odnor, and just steps away from the Deerwood towards something, and eventually ends up in the Deadfire Archipelago, right? Just goes in this direction. The steward, which was part of Kadua, is like reduced to a bust and nothing else, and she's placed at a ship, which we have named the Compensation. By vote, of course. And Garfield, you're absolutely right. It is notable that this one is not as good. Sorry, it's much better, but it did not sell as well as Pillars 1, and I don't know why. The only thing I can guess is that perhaps Pillars 1 sold really well and a lot of people didn't like it, but while I can empathize with that, I don't truly understand, because it's a good game. It's really good. It's highly enjoyable for its own benefits as well as nostalgia. So it's pretty odd that some people didn't like it that much. But hey, no accounting for taste. And perhaps if you're not the right kind of I like to read everything all the time, the game is not as engaging as it could be. But even when I'm not like selling it to all of you live and having people react and someone to talk to while I do it, I still really enjoy it. I love just sinking into the game and enjoying it in that way. And hey, I'm amazed. I'm not... I would be perhaps a little nervous that they wouldn't do anything more in the series or in the setting. But there's another part. Another slavers. I like killing all slavers on principle, but it is again a little slow. Let's go to Hasongo. I believe I have a quest to go to Hasongo as well. Nope. We'll do that when we go back. Quiet's cool. It is friend. Wait for him to explain. Go to the Temple of Gorn. Team prospects. Pokokahara. Go to Pokokahara. Go to Nekataka. Amazed we don't have anything. Yes, that is hungry. Yeah, main quest. Let's go. Why not? But since Microsoft bought out and kind of owns Obsidian, as well as like Bethesda now, but they I'm not too worried about them. I get the feeling, and like they like to branch out and do games in other genres. Like Ground is apparently a pretty good crafty survivally game that I'm not going to play because I don't like crafty survivally games, but it's apparently really quite good with a good concept and a fun loop. And hey, Alcat would do a fantastic job, but I don't...
Leave it to me.
I want them to keep making
I
Pathfinder
don't
games.
get this at all. There was a Dawnstar settlement on Hasongo.
Dare kicks at a few used splinters of shattered wood strewn across the path. Kibble, you're going to be dropped in the middle, like, not the middle, but like the first third of the plot here, so please ask as many clarifying questions as you'd like. Chat or myself will go through with as much detail as we can. And Baldur's Gate 3 going to Larian was a good idea, but again, I refuse to play Baldur's Gate 3 until it's released in full instead of in bits. Like, 2 months since they added Druid? If you're making a 5th ed game, it should have everything. I don't understand if they didn't want to put in, like, Artificer. But come on, man. Druid! Oh, 2nd edition Pathfinder. I don't know, they spent so much time writing 1st ed Pathfinder. I'm playing in multiple 2nd edition Pathfinder games, and I think it's a better system, and I still recognize that the efforts they've gone to with Pathfinder first, putting that into a game is hard enough. They did great. I'm gonna replay Wrath of the Righteous, aren't I? I should quit my job and just stream all day.
The place got trampled just the same.
It doesn't seem to matter who he hurts, he just does as he pleases.
This is Wide Wen all over again. Only now we know it really is Aethers behind it.
Because we truly know it is Aethers possessing statued walking across, and wherever he goes, he sucks the souls out of people. We had a brief conversation with him, and we will again, and this is just tragic what he's doing as he walks across the face of Aora towards something? Seems to be moving from Pillar of Luminous Adra to Pillar of Luminous Adra.
I'll tell you one thing. When we catch up to that unstoppable god statue, me and him are gonna have words.
Good work, Adair.
Well, at least he's easy to follow. Headed right for the...
Okay, just Dogger here.
Folks,
Build and solve.
that was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
It's amazing. So could have had a physical first edition handbook when I flip around here while playing. Yeah, I understand that impulse, but
Be right there.
I find physical books so much harder in every way that I buy a digital version of something as soon as I can. A ripe stench wafts from the boats. A corpse is pinned behind them. Who said that's about as useful as bump on a pickle?
What can I do you for?
Shoti, who's one of our favorites. She's a monk priest. She worships an aspect of Aethers called Gorn, the Reaper. Our other companion
At your service. That will do, I say.
is Takehu, who is very sexy, very flirty, and kind of a sad boy, but a sad artist boy. So of course, I love him. I love him.
Yes, Captain.
First Ed is also not a... First Ed Pathfinder is also not a dead product, and that's really good. Like, it's super important to note that they still support it, they just don't create new stuff for it. Because people will accuse them of saying, hey, you've dropped your whole setting, you no longer create it. It's not true. Players still want to work with it as best they can. It's just, even back when they were making Pathfinder Unchanged, which has an optional rule for 3 actions per person per round, they recognized...
Maybe another route, Captain. One that does not take us into the snake's nest?
That's very smart, Takehu. I may ignore your advice. They recognized that they were hitting the limits of what they could do with their 3.75 Pathfinder First Ed style. Well, then none of those are explosive barrels, so that's not going to work. So, actually, we do need to destroy these barrels because otherwise we won't be able to get our Malay characters through.
Sorry, friend. I can't.
What can I do? Yeah.
Here you go,
Get
boys.
threshed.
Heloth, can you perhaps put your tentacles there?
I'll teach you later. Hey there.
You need something.
At least Vela, who is our instant lose condition, is not standing directly in the line of fire. Ah, damn it. That wasn't what I wanted to happen. But at least instead I can get Aloth to move over there while Shody deals with this last archer.
Not to alarm you, but I'm slowly dying of poison. Hey, here we go.
Exactly what I was going for.
You'll be fine, buddy.
Yeah?
Shody is going to go use one of her healing abilities. Terrible tactical combat, but I never pretended to be good at thinking things through, so, you know. That's my excuse and I'm going to stick to it. An entire section of the wall has been smashed, leaving a chasm of jagged rubble below. Broken planks and battlements jut from the opposite side of the break. Let's throw a grappling hook. Clearly it's gotta be a dare, right? A dare hurls a grappling hook at the broken wall. It catches securely on the parapet. Leave. Like, we'll cross in a second, but glad that's there. A cannon? A heavy brass bombard is perched atop the wall, pointing out to sea. From here, you have a commanding view of the flooded fortress. Check for ammunition. The bombard itself is not loaded, and you don't see any ammunition for it nearby. Turn the bombard toward the cluster of Naga. You try, but it's stuck. Looking down, you notice the gears attached to the rotating platform are rusted. Well, what if we just force it? What? Adair pushes, but the bombard hardly moves. What? No, you're a strong man. We love you. Okay. Well, can't just pick up the lamp oil, can we? That's how you remove rust. Do we have any WD-40? No? Oh, we tried. Fun, though. Maybe we need a spell. Oof. One, that's pretty. Water effects of the outside world visible through a window with moonlight shining through. Amazing.
We got trouble, folks.
Unstable gunpowder barrel. Unstable gunpowder barrel. Pile of gunpowder. No AoE. Just deal with the warrior, okay? That's all.
Hey, that wasn't that bad.
That's it. There we go. You see, Slam, do you mind?
Something?
Dangerous man. Artillerist's manual. When taking aim, the artillerist must account for both the distance of the target and the velocity of the wind. What follows is his diagrams specifying the ideal firing angles for targets at various ranges. I wonder what we can use that for. A distant light. You would, Kibbled. Trap disarmed, some gunpowder, some cannon shot. We got as much of the ammunition as we can carry. The debris is charred and blackened with spent gunpowder. The crates smell musty. Peering inside, you see they're full of black powder. So the cannon is not loaded, but can we get some stuff? A Naga soul? Fascinating. Arquebus we're not using. Can we get in here? No? Can we talk to the Naga soul? No?
Consider it done.
Well, we'll find another way in. Probably from underwater. Hopefully we'll get more little blood explosions, presumably by Slam Shadow's firing one of his dual pistols, because pistols are no longer two-handed. The Slam can dual wield them like a motherfucking G, I believe is the term. I'm not cool enough to truly know myself. Oh, we can replace one of his fine pistols with an exceptional pistol. Here you go. A damage upgrade for our good friend Slam. Don't ask me how he reloads them. I do not know. I think it's pretty funny. Also, could use a blunderbuss instead. But as it's inaccurate, he would have blown apart something in that previous room. And enjoy your extra constitution. Excellent. Examine the rotating platform. It's still rusted and we can't move it. Let's keep searching. Perhaps we will find a way to launch a mortar at Naga enemies instead of, like, going up and just attacking them. There's a looter over there. So where are we going to climb down to, do you think? You mean Slam's pistols? Don't make fun of him. Oh, it's a shelf with some cooking fat. The jar is full of pale, greasy lard. It smells like it's going rancid. Alright, well, my first instinct was, hey, let's eat it, but I guess not. It is funny. He's a very dignified person, Slam Shadows. He doesn't have a silly name at all. How dare you? The stairs descend into a flooded hallway. The water is clear and the passage seems to continue for quite a ways. Swim into the passage. As the passage begins to grow dim and the water cloudy, you reach an intersection where the walls are spiderwebbed with cracks. The hall continues to the left and to the right. The way on the left is dark. There's a faint glow to your right, but still dark shapes obstruct the passage. Orient yourself in the passage. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That was quite embarrassing, to be honest. Swim, orient. Your finely honed sense of direction tells you that the hall to the right leads west, while the route to the left seems to bend southwest back towards the docks. That didn't help me at all. Well, let's not go west. Okay, maybe it did. Route to the left, please. The hallway curves around until you reach a door. It's swollen with water and stuck in place. You give it a cursory tug, but it will take more effort to pull it open. Pull the door open. The deer braces against the doorway and pulls at the handle. After several sharp yanks, it flies open, revealing stairs to the surface. We did it. Southeast, not southwest. Whoops. Okay, that makes sense. Captain of the compensation with his very large pistols. Just a very large pistol? Oh no, he's got multiple. Nagasol. You feel the presence of a soul, twisting and sinuous. It notices you, too, and draws nearer. Its restless essence tingles against your own. It is searching, hunting. You recognize it as the soul of a Naga.
What is this? Come closer. You glow so brightly, just like
The soul recoils from the memory of violence like a child snatching her hand from a hot stove. What were you searching for?
a way.
Memory blooms at her core. A burst of vehemence shudders through your very essence. No. A burst of vehemence shudders through her essence.
The striped fiends profane the island, endlessly burrowing, building. They bury the Adra under stone. Sugan says we must find a way in. Sugan says I must find a way in.
There is warmth in this thought. Pride. Then what?
The fiends gather at the walls, searching too. Not for me, but they see me still.
You feel a prickle of sympathetic pain as if pierced by a volley of bullets. You died.
No, not dead. Still searching.
A desperate, dissonant ripple thrums through the Naga's soul.
Stay a little longer. Your glow is a comfort here.
What are you looking for now?
A way, I said. A glowing, shining way.
As she speaks, you feel yourself pulled into her memory and into the dark abyss of the In-Between. You remember it from your own brief sojourn there. The In-Between refers to the shadow world that souls briefly wander after death on their way to the beyond. Yet from the darkness you and your nurse see a bright rift, a pillar with roots that seem to reach into the very heart of the world. You recognize this as an Adra pillar.
The way glows, like an anglerfish lure. But it feels safe.
It does. You are drawn to it.
I will follow the way, I think. But then I see another glowing thing. This one does not feel safe.
Another glowing figure appears. This one shaped like an enormous walker. 3 stars burn above its brow. You feel Yanas's fear at this walker thing, even as you recognize it as Aethers. Draw back. You watch as the glowing figure approaches a pillar. It reaches out and a violent current rips through the darkness. You hear a chorus of screams, but they sound distant and distorted as if coming from underwater. Light and energy flow into the strange being from the pillar and form 100 points gathered around it. At last the pillar is dark. The glowing walker recedes, brighter than before. Everything is dark.
Now, there is no way and no light. I am afraid.
Come with me.
It is too dark. I will lose my way, or be swallowed by the terrible walker.
Fear shivers through her. I'll restore the Adra-pillar, then you can return on your way.
The way? I am searching for a way. Show me.
She melts into the ether and becomes a quiet presence beside you. Swim back to the kitchen. You step into the water. It's cool around your ankles. The stairs descend to the dark and flooded passage. You're confident you remember the way back to the kitchen. So, if in the first game you're a watcher, we're still a watcher, but now we're also a herald of Berith. Oh, cool.
Me. Now that never happens.
Please don't blow up the gunpowder barrels.
Right here.
As tempting as it is, do not blow up the gunpowder barrels while our people are standing right next to them. Lag spikes are getting a little worrying. I actually want to deal with this totem before it starts fucking us over pretty hard. What do we want? Yeah, that one, please.
Smart, Stony!
How may I help?
Excellent.
What do you need?
Since in Pillars 2 you can dual class, when you pick up new characters, or even characters from the first game, they give you the opportunity to pick up 2 classes for them. Now, Aloth is still just a wizard because his other classes make him a wizard and something else, but
Just have to try something else.
for example, Adair can be a rogue, a fighter, or a fighter rogue for multi-classing,
Hey,
or dual classing really.
I trust you.
Slam Shadows, who was a chanter, is now a chanter cipher. Because, like, lore-wise, because he spent a lot of time getting very close to Grieving Mother, and that affected him in such a way that he developed cipher powers.
Quiet.
And, like, that's
I
cool.
sense a predator in the water.
Enough black powder here.
To sink dunnage. But in a number of circumstances when it gives you the option, like when they join the party, it gives you an option what class are they. You have these 3 options. Several times where it's giving me options that someone can be a ranger something, or a ranger something, or
What do you need?
just a ranger. I'm like, oh, okay. I think we'll make him just a ranger then. That's why Aloth is continuing to be just a giant nerd. Did you see that? He just zapped a lamp oil barrel. Why are these looters are infinitely tougher than the other enemies you've been fighting. Oh my god.
There's some shut-eye about now.
Come on. Don't you die on me, you dare.
Speak your mind.
Speak your mind, huh? Well, let's get a regen effect up, because you guys are holding the front line right now. Gotta remember to use our abilities.
I'll get the next one.
Mantilic's an ally to those around it. No, we want... Let's try a paralyze on him. Slam, could you try and paralyze his enemies? That's good. Get some mind blades out.
Threw mud up to my armpit.
Enemy tentacles? No way. Okay, we got it. That was close. Poor Adair is quite wounded. We're going to try and do a rest so he doesn't die in next combat.
I got this.
Anyway, Adair is a fighter rogue now. That whole... Actually, Larksy, not to be a jerk, but the game's audio is actually cutting out. So it could be both. It could just be the stream. Black powder, now soggy, clumps inside the crate. Can we rest it? Yes, lovely. Well, let's also give ourselves a bit of a bonus too, because fuck, do we need it. Not the forbidden flesh pie. Never the forbidden flesh pie. Herflets. Not kith meat either. Jeez. 50% recovery time? Yeah, yes please. You will be able to shoot your things much faster. And constitution and might for the rest of you. Mariner's porridge is great.
I can't wait to make some new friends.
I'm cutting out too? That is a shame. That would do it. Yeah. Well, let's grease up this cannon. Things I never thought I'd say out loud. No, I will not eat the forbidden flesh pie. Rub cooking fat into the gears. It's messy and smelly work, but once the gears and your arms are liberally greased, you're able to turn the bombard. You've lost an item. Cooking fat. Aim the bombard at the cluster of Naga. Slam, now that you're our preferred person to do mechanics, you consult the artillery manual you found and use it to line up a shot. Leave the bombard alone. Why can't we use it yet? Well, we don't have the... I guess we don't have the appropriate ammo, do we? We'll find it, don't you worry. See, we found the recipe for forbidden flesh pie, right? On an island full of cannibals. Pile of gunpowder, these are all just attack options. And can't pick up that, and that's artillery for the ship. You'd think it'd be here, which is clearly the ammunition store, but apparently not. Gotta keep looking. We'll find it. And we'll load the bombard. 3 cannibals left. There were much more when they started. That's part of the problem.
Quiet if you can.
Maybe in here. A lot of skeletons. I'm looking forward to later in the game where everyone's got slightly more stealth just passively, right? Except for Vela. And so enemies will spot her. That'll be hilarious. They stomp on her. At the near the end of Pillars 1, you have the opportunity to rescue or kill or sacrifice a baby. We did, and then I left it in the inventory, and it changes the ending slide slightly. And then in the sequel, Vela comes with you. If you kept her, so she is my adopted and or stolen daughter. And we're using one of the extra difficulty modifiers to make her with the party at all times, and if she dies, game over. Load a save. 1, hilarious. 2, hilarious. An armor woman whirls towards you, her eyes rapid and wild. What? Clearly, reading the next line down. An armor woman whirls toward you, her eyes wide and wild. Her uniform is disheveled as if from several days' wear, and her breath comes in rapid gasps. With her are a few wounded soldiers and a huddle of commoners in dirt-stained farmers' smocks.
Shut the door, quick, before the Naga get in.
It's already closed, but her glazed eyes seem to be staring beyond it. The soldiers look up too. Their faces are drawn with pain and exhaustion, their eyes rimmed red and grey. Meanwhile, the farmers cast nervous glances in your direction, drawing more tightly together. It's alright, I'm here to help.
We're the finest soldiers and cannoneers in Aora. We don't need anything.
Her hand starts to tremble at her side. There's something unusual about her brittle confidence, distant stare, and shaking hand. You can read the signs. Whatever she saw here has rattled her to her core.
Folks that saw Widewind on the field of battle, the ones that lived, used to get rounded up looking like this. Some got reassigned, but most they sent home.
Ah, yes, you're exactly right, Luxie. It was a choice at some point. The game also assumes that you're definitely going to steal the baby and not give her to someone else. So I was like, fuck it, I'll keep her in my inventory. And I'm definitely not going to abandon a small baby to her death. We're going to steal her instead. She blinks at you as if seeing you for the first time.
Wait, you're not the reinforcements. There are supposed to be reinforcements.
A tide of panic is rising behind her eyes. I come on the authority of all the powers in Nekataka. The wounded soldier almost leaps to his feet. Takeru grins and pats down a nest of his writhing hair.
So, was this destruction the work of the Valians? Or maybe a trick of the Wada Queen?
Calm down.
As if Onakaza could flood outsider lands with serpents and gods.
Takeru shakes his head and frowns.
Do not play coy with me about Wada treachery.
We're never going to get anywhere arguing like this. She closes her eyes, but her hands are still shaking.
The first thing was the Colossus. It showed up a few days ago, a week ago, I can't be sure. But it was huge. Glowed like luminous Audra.
Her eyes start to glaze over again. She stares into the distance, her mouth slightly open. Her wounded companion, meanwhile, is staring suspiciously at the farmers. They shrink from his gaze. That was Aethers.
That monster that killed our people?
I suppose he does look like a monster from down here.
Look, Adele, I know you're struggling with the fact that your god is literally ripping people's souls out, but it's happening.
I told you, Zuhira. The Godhammer scrambled their god, and now he's taking his revenge.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. You used a magical nuke on him. The soldier looks pointedly at the huddled farmers. They look away, cheeks flushed and brows perspiring. Hilariously, we were told earlier that the Dawn Stars, a sect of Aethosian worshippers, had an outpost on this island. Do you think they're the farmers?
Our gods are above petty motivations like revenge. No, Gon's got a bigger plan for you and me.
Takeru likes this, so he will like Shoti as well. Here, Gorn is an aspect of Aethers associated with death and harvest. His implements are symbolically important. The sickle reaps what is sown in life. The lantern guides the deceased down their intended paths of death and rebirth. There. Shoti's right. Don't jump to conclusions.
It's no coincidence your Aethys shows up just as Latharn storms out.
He casts a poisonous glare at the farmers. What? But Sahira is stuck in her memories.
The Colossus was coming right for us. Fleetmaster Ko ordered the Gunhawks and Cannoneers to take up positions.
We have a Gunhawk in our party, Maya. Kibble, you'll love her. I actually want to bring her back to the party sometime very soon. She catches herself breaking off with an ashamed grimace.
They fought. The rest of us were sent below, like cowards.
She looks down at her hands, which she's balled into trembling fists. There was nothing you could do.
We're trenchers, sons and daughters of Rawatai. We can handle anything.
She glowers, clenching and unclenching her fists, working herself into a bold, to a foolish bravery once more.
I heard cannon blasts, artillery fire. Felt the world shake. Then the water started coming in. We came back up, and the others were... I don't know. Like they'd been turned to ash.
They were.
And the Colossus was walking away. The fort was flooding, where it had broken our walls, and the luminous Audra in the lighthouse had gone dark.
Where's this lighthouse?
On the western side of the fort. It's a true marvel, a monument to Rawataian engineering.
Okay.
Proof we can tame and transform this place, once we get rid of the scale bellies.
Scale bellies?
The Naga.
Her hand starts to tremble again. She tries to cover it with the other.
They skulked in after, once our walls were down.
He scowls.
Those of us who were left fought. But those cowards moved through the sunken hallways, ambushed us from below.
And those of you who survived ended up here. Both Sahira and the angry soldier look away in shame.
Those snakes are little more than animals. No match for trained Rawataian warriors.
He snorts.
When the Hasanui's reinforcements get here, we'll strike back.
That's us, dude. He trails off, his gaze distant to the scenarios of bloody vengeance, no doubt, playing in his mind's eye.
And build our walls back up so nothing gets through. And double our cannons, so we can destroy that Colossus if it ever comes back.
We're gonna get find ammunition for the bombard.
Ammunition? We keep lots of ammunition. get new shipments all the time from Rawatai.
She nods brightly, clinging to this hopeful thought.
Not for the bombard. Fleetmaster Ko fired it all at the Colossus. All that's left are cannonballs, and they're too small.
He sags, despondency creeping up on him like a chill.
Maybe Imuro had some. In his workshop, he was making these new explosive shells.
The injured soldier shoots her a look and she breaks off.
Akara, but you did not come to mine the reef.
Takeru thumbs his chin and furrows his brow.
Anyway, you should check, just in case. Imuro's workshop was by the northern gate.
She reaches into her pocket. She hands you a key. It's slick with her sweat.
Is there anything else?
She stares at you with wide, blank eyes. This is a fortress. Surely you've got some way of fighting the Naga. She bristles.
The finest cannons and bombards in the archipelago. Why, you can barely walk the ramparts without...
As she remembers the destruction outside, her indignation fades away and that distant look returns to her eyes.
There's still one. There must be one. They can't all have been destroyed. But you'll need a trained artillerist to aim it.
She nods, pulling herself back in a brink of panic. Don't worry, we've got it handled. You seem to be storing an awful lot of black powder here.
As you can see, we have need of it.
I know a thing or two about explosives, and you're dealing in exceptional quantities.
Rawataians do not do anything in half measures.
A ragged cheer goes up from the other soldiers.
The Deadfire is a savage place. Something that Valian coin counters and Huana tribals do not seem to recognize.
And again, Kibble, this is essentially the socio-political question in the game. Rawataians versus Valian coin counters versus Huana tribals versus Principi pirates.
For what do you call us tribals when we open our ports and welcome? Ngati shuns an ungrateful guest.
Good point, Takehu. I appreciate that. Thank you.
But our people conquered Rawatai 2 millennia ago. We understand what it takes to survive, to tame a wild land.
The other soldiers murmur in agreement. Who's Lathan, and what do you have against these farmers?
Dawn stars.
He coughs a wad of bloody phlegm onto the floor.
Fleetmaster Ko hired them to tend the fields that supply the mainland, but they started acting strange, dreaming strange.
Oh.
You mean dreaming of things to come?
Glad we brought you here, Shoti.
One of them, Latharan, had a row with the Fleetmaster over it, left angry just before the Colossus showed up.
Sahiri and the soldiers glare at the farmers as if this explains everything. They're stuck here too, and they're obviously scared. Be kinder to them. Sahiri seems to consider your words, but the wounded soldier shakes his head. Adair seems pleased, and Shoti likes it. Well, of course, you can't just be mean to people.
I think their praying called it here, getting back at us for the Godhammer. Even if not, they definitely know something.
The Godhammer, the divinities, interest me far more than the socio-political concerns of this game, right? The setting is much more interesting when we're talking about the divinities. To me. So, if anyone else who agrees with me on that note, I'm happy to tell you that they don't know shit about the Godhammer yet. Believe me, there's some amazing stuff that goes on in this game, and I will show you, and I will crow about it for days when we get to it on stream.
Spitting at our god? You ought to fear for the future of your soul.
Good job, Shoti. Who are you?
Zahira, assistant quartermaster.
She crosses her arms over her chest in a perfunctory salute. Farewell.
Don't go back out there. You'll be safe here until reinforcements arrive.
Her throat makes a dry clicking sound as she swallows.
Just stay away from the water. Damn scale bellies are hiding down there. They'll ambush if you get close.
Whoops.
Sometimes you can see them, if you look carefully.
She stares off again, gazing at nothing. Well, it's not stealing, so it's just... yoink.
I'm safe with you, Captain. I just know it is all.
Hey, Dawnstars, do you have anything to say? Bad enough with the snakes outside. Now we're stuck with a bunch of angry soldiers. One of Gorn's harvesters, an ill omen today. Having strange dreams of late, boiling seas and summer skies. Revelation is to come is exactly right, Loxy. You are in for a treat. Let me tell you what. So, some dude and his workshop to the north, they said. Let's go. angry shoulders.
See what I can find.
Is this perhaps because you were working too long again? Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Ah yes, should also note it is 15 minutes till our regularly scheduled break session. Now, hilariously, I will be returning. Probably not with a drink tonight. I don't super feel like making a cocktail. I had a beer last night. I don't need to drink every day. A cold, stiff hand protrudes from the rubble. But we will be taking a regular 10-minute break, and we will return at 8:40. I should also note, maybe a piece of pizza. I had dinner. It was a slice of pizza. No, nothing here. Let's continue looking before we go into the water. Remember, we were warned specifically about that water. There are naga in the water. You can go for a pizza? Good idea, Garfield. I don't know if I can send it to you, that's all. I certainly agree that you deserve one. I just cannot facilitate this process. Second dinner? No. I'm okay. Slam, what did you find in the box? A grenade. Great sword and a buckler. Excellent. Maybe up here, huh?
Keeping an eye out.
No, I'm going to finish my coffee and then drink a lot of water, and after stream I will exercise for a bit before doing assignments. Loose masonry mars the southern wall of the gatehouse. Some of the protruding bricks look prominent enough to climb, yet the stonework feels slick with sea spray and slime moss. Yes, to make it a difficult climb, and a dangerous fall. That's fine. You're halfway up when you hear a gasp below. Looking down, you see Alof holding feebly to a jagged stone, his feet dangling over open air. As you watch, his hand slip from the stone, and he lands at the base of the tower with a pained yelp. You have no choice but to climb back down after him. Alof was injured. He's got a twisted ankle. Oh, buddy. Let's try again. This time with a grappling hook. Careful, any noise could draw unwanted attention. Shirty says. Alright, let's toss a grappling hook. Grappling hook lands with a loud clang. No sooner have you pulled it tight than you hear splashing and hissing behind you. Oh no, not all of them. No, just a couple? Okay. Well, we're not in combat yet, so I click, and then I click climb the rope, and we get to the top. We ascend quickly, and we escape the Coral Naga.
Leave it to me.
I sense a predator in the water.
Yes. There is definitely a predator in the water. Good guess. A distant light. Found a bombard, a manual, need ammunition. Near the northern gate. His workshop is near the northern gate. I bet it's there. It's right there, isn't it? Son of a bitch. Oh, lonely cat, I will return to save you, I swear. Hi, Mura. Fetch cat immediately. No, I will. We'll save the cat. Climb down the way. We'll get down here and it's like...
Never you mind that, miss.
I like that just because it's very funny.
You need the pleasure is mine.
Just because of the way the game's made, it's hard for it to say. Oh. Love dual pistols. Very funny. Would you do the same, please? Excellent. Nice bloody explosion for you again, Gibbled.
Mo, how good, I say. Next time, a challenge.
Into the workshop. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get there. I should also note that, like, she's there running the VODs too. Haven't said hello.
I taste his fear. Open. Open.
I don't think we'll get the backstab off, I'm afraid. Blind some enemies, my friend. The worst part about this really cool lightning ability is that you need to be close. It's just so effective. See, look at that. Love it. Poor Adair. Dual wielding sabers. Now he takes so much damage in fights. He used to be a tank in heavy armor and a shield.
I got this.
Hasongo Workshop Records. Saltpeter ammunition. And they send back rice and merkberries. Send to Citadel, more black powder. Yeah. They've got a lot of ammunition and black powder. This is insane. Hi, Mirror. Before I talk to you, I'm going to take everything in here, okay? Okay, there it is. The explosive shell. Large enough for a bombard. Blombard. Jimbles, how could you? An older man hunches over a work table, scribbling furiously by the light of a flickering lantern. His hair is an oily, matted mess, and his cheeks are streaked with black. He looks up as you enter, shielding his eyes from the torchlight behind you.
Slave sphincter, those snakes were noisy. I don't suppose you brought any extra parchment with you?
He brushes a lock of breezy hair behind his ear. As he does, his ink-stained fingers leave another mark on his cheek. What are you doing?
I'm writing it all down. My research, my work, something to survive before the next walk-in Colossus, the next Naga warband.
He blinks, his eyes wide and distant.
Do you need something? If not, I should focus. So much to do.
He turns back to the pages on the table. What happened here?
What didn't? A Colossus made of Adra marched through the fort, grew bright like luminous, and scores of soldiers fell dead. Incredible.
His quill stops moving and his gaze grows distant. Garfield, you've got a good point there. Hilariously, we turned Grieving Mother into a frontline melee fighter with a greatsword. You can't cast many Cypher spells, right? Because they regenerate... They generate their power resource by dealing damage in combat. So whenever they hit with a weapon that's got a really high recovery rate and wearing armor that's a really high recovery rate, it means they're not hitting often. But it does also mean that if you're casting things every now and then, someone moves in and is in close range to use a AoE stun, bam, all enemies are stunned, and then they get a quick swing and deal a massive hit of damage. It falls apart against large enemies like dragons. Not that we fought any dragons in Pillars of Eternity 1. In Pillars 2, it works even better because there is, in fact, a subclass that makes not extra survivable, but it makes the Ego Whip deal much more damage on the attack. So it again is just maximizing that one swing damage, and that's funny. That's worth it.
Then the Naga killed everyone else, except Latharn, I suppose. Yes, he must have left.
Zahira survived, along with a few others.
They should split up. Safer that way. Better odds.
This guy's seen less horror films than I have. You know that you... Okay, sure. Lathan?
Dawnstar fellow. Arrived yesterday, last week. Complained of strange dreams. Smart of him to leave so soon.
Really?
He's got to be acting on his dreams, trying to help our god.
I don't know if you should help your god right now, Shoti.
Do you need something? If not, I should focus. So much to do.
Zahira told me you had explosive shells for the bombard.
Just the one. Just the one. Someone came and took it. Oh, that was you.
He frowns, looking at the chest and scratching his head with the end of his quill. How do I get it? To the lighthouse.
How indeed.
A high, anxious laugh tumbles out of him.
Naga everywhere. Suppose your best chance will be up along the walls, west and south. But how to get there?
He shakes his head. I love the fact that they recognize that we've already stolen the thing before we spoke to him.
Better perhaps to keep going south, around the edge of the fort, through Fleet Master Ko's office. More cover from the Naga.
There are survivors holed up by the docks. I can help you reach them? He waves a hand, already turning back to his notes.
Safety in numbers, eh? A comforting illusion. Let the others have it if they wish it.
He wipes his cheek, smearing more ink across it.
I must see that my work survives.
Alright, farewell. Yeah, whatever, dude. Safety in numbers. But Oh, yeah, let's investigate these statues. These are just touch these corpses and you'll get a small amount of money as they dissolve. These completely soulless corpses, their vessel flesh has turned to stone. Let it fade away under your touch. And I mean, it would have. Just not right away. Yeah. Yeah, Luxie. Exactly. Do you feel bad? Don't, because I was going to touch all of them anyway. Bombard continues its lonely vigil. Load the bombard. Carefully, you ease the shell into the bombard. Well, we greased it up first, and that's how you should do this sort of thing. It's also important to use the appropriately sized ammunition tool, if you use the appropriately sized tool for the job. Right, now that we're ready to fire the bombard, I'd like to draw chat's attention to the screen, please, everybody. Please watch as we blow up some Naga. Fire the bombard. You light the fuse and plug your ears. Filling! Yes, correct. Now, I know it's a long shot. I went the wrong way. But I do want to see what happens if we go in and say, hey, we just fired the bombard, everything's fine. Do we take a couple of steps back? Apparently we don't, right? We just say, no, it's totally cool. Just everyone blows up. Hey, Zahira.
Is there anything else?
No, alright. Well, worth a try. Hilariously, we can't rip the bombard off and then use it on our ship or something similar. That is something I'd like to do. Not through there. Okay, well, let's go to the center and loot. What? Oh, we got too close to the water and now there's...
Time to separate the chaff.
I know you're a druid. You shouldn't be at the front line. But, oh
Didn't
boy.
work.
You fall down fast, buddy.
There's something you don't see every day.
The Nagas have quite a lot of hit points, which is good. I think perhaps it's just in recognition that if we take it, we'll have to kill literally everyone here. No. But that should be an option, right? You kill everyone here and steal the bombard and say, oh, what bombard? I never saw one, lol. And then just sail past on the compensation. I don't think there was anything useful on any of those. Oh, boy, that was fun.
That's yours naturally. You need something.
Oh. Nope, there we go. You got spotted, my dude.
Gotta have something
Oh,
here
it was
that
just
works.
this one. Excuse me, the compensation is a very well-sized ship and it can accommodate many different sizes of ammunition.
Show them how it's done.
Regenerating effect to allies.
Try something else. Sure.
Mind blades. That was great.
Think you got the decency to die?
Makes no difference.
Shady is a priest but can also be a monk and be a priest monk, contemplative, and we love that.
Happy to oblige.
I love her accent. She's from... I don't think she's from Aethers.
I hear you.
Oh, there's a grappling hook, just in case you don't have one to get up the other wall, but, you know, still good. The compensation is a peacekeeping ship. It's just a peacekeeping force, don't worry about it. What are you doing? Oh, there's an archer attacking us from somewhere. I can't even see them. Oh, there you are, you're up there. What do you think? Can you... This pistol beat? Yes. Look, Malay, you're not gonna get too far, okay? Just chill for a bit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Shody, pretend to be more of a priest, okay? He's got a heal. Otherwise, I could just tank it. There you go. Exactly.
What can I do you for?
Well, it's break time. Yeah, exactly, Luxie. You're totally correct. Peacekeeping force. Oh, that makes me sad. Stupid international war. Someone was like, it's been 3 weeks or so. And then we Googled it at work and we realized you could say this Ukrainian, this Ukraine-Russian war has been going on for 8 years as well, if you count the invasion of Crimea. Anyway, war's bad. That's my official statement. Let's go on break. Time to stretch, everybody. Now, I'll remember to mute the microphone in a moment, but just, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Go stretch. Roll out those sore shoulders, okay? look, it's just good behavior to tell everyone to go for a stretch and move your body a little bit. And that's not supposed to be a do it, we will get in trouble, or remember to lift 400 weights. It's more about just recognizing that doing what you can to stretch out and move about a little bit to your own limits, not to what other people want you to do, is good for your body. Feels delicious. Didn't do the stretch, do the hanging up blanket. Well, that kind of counts, you know. It's like, Emma and I managed to do 3 loads of washing between the 3 of us over a single weekend. That's crazy. I've yet to put away the last load yet, but I will, and that will be incredible. And it'll be fun. Man, I'm signing up to do a number of things after stream tonight, and I don't know if I'll get around to them. Whatever. Let's play some video games. Letter from Aethers. This letter is written in a small, meticulous hand. Ko, you know I've never been one for superstition, but I've been telling you, there's something to these dreams. Couldn't tell you what they mean, only that they wake me 3 times a night. All of us working your farms, pious Aethers to a man, are having them too. I've got no mind to tell you how to run your fort, but I've got to look after my brethren here. We've left homes and families back in Raid Ceres. And now we're seeing strange things and labouring next to a Duke's ransom and black powder. What did you reckon a dumb hick like me wouldn't notice? Oh my. Hasongo Fort, expanded design. Flecks of sealing wax clinging to the tip of the blade. Yeah, that happens, Luxie. The last step of laundry, you know, putting away the clean and drying, folding and putting away the clean and dry. I don't fold everything. Takes 5 to 7 business days. Clearly. I don't know. There are just so many steps, and all of them are time sensitive, except the last ones. Of course, it's not under the same pressure. Look at this footprint. You remember the feet that made these stomping across Cadnua? Still in the bedroom now in the basket.
Are we gonna fight someone? I want to throw the first punch.
No, you are a plot important NPC. When you die, we have to load. You're not allowed to. Okay, that's literally everything. Except the cat. So into the lighthouse we go. Yeah, it's important. I think that recognition that everything else is time important, you need to wash them so you have other clothes to wear. You know, like you run out of clothes. The next time-sensitive task, you need to hang them so that they don't go smelly, you need to rewash them. Once they are hung, the other task, the third one, why can't I do that? That's weird. Does not have a timer. No shit, without external pressure things slow down. Has anyone ever heard of ADHD? Come on. The lighthouse is quiet, but for soft sibilant whispers, there's a repetitive, incantatory quality to them. Yet, as you cross the threshold, an old Naga with skin like cracked leather breaks off. He swivels to face you, bearing one broken fang.
The sea-striped fiends send you to uproot the tree of the gods, yes? Their blasphemy knows no bounds.
Apologies, ADHD. I must have swallowed the second... I wanted to say I must have swallowed the second D, but I didn't. Swallowed the second H.
Go! Carry a warning of what you have seen to the other shufflers.
His tongue whips from his mouth like a ripped streamer. What warning do you expect me to deliver?
That shufflers must not disturb these roots, or the gods will destroy the islands again.
ADHD. Fuck. God damn it. God damn it, Loxy. Alright. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, I love that since we have chat on a saved VOD, everyone's gonna see my shame. My sincere and honest shame. Anyway, the other Naga hiss in agreement. You're saying that gods have brought ruin on Deadfire before. He bears his broken fang in surprise.
Do your stories say nothing of the many disasters? Of the shuffler nests washed away like foam?
Letting out a deep sigh, Takehu raises a hand to touch his brow.
Wherever we sail, the beaches and spires of lost Ukaizo travel with us.
He clasps his hand with reverence.
Many generations ago, the sand-striped ones built great hives across the islands, and bastions around the Adra roots.
At this, the others hiss angrily. Juana civilization spanned the archipelago, but the Anguithans built temples around the Adra.
They did not build alone. The sand-striped ones helped, as they help other fiends now.
He hisses.
Their meddling displeased the gods. So the gods smashed their works with heaving volcanoes and crashing waves.
His beads and bangles rattle as he brings his hands together in a loud clap. So you think history is repeating itself?
You shufflers are beasts of habit. You do not learn. You do not change. You cast off your sheddings by night, only to put them back on at daybreak. You wrap yourself in filthy, worn-out things.
A tremor of disgust ripples through his body.
Our ancestors hid deep, where the waters quenched the fires and muffled the storms. They remembered while shufflers scattered.
We got a sausage dog nosing around.
Now, the shufflers build again.
He thumps his tail on the floorboards.
The gods see. They will tear them all down.
I'm a watcher. I can restore the Adra if you'll just let me near it. His tail whips on the ground as he considers you.
If your fat tongue speaks true, then give us proof.
Adra is not a root that withers, but a channel of essence. This one is merely blocked. I can show you. Sugan regards you with a wary eye.
If this is not some fat-tongued lie, then show us. Approach. Restore the blessing of the gods to the Adra.
It's a lot more interesting if I show... Yeah, I hate to do it because I'm like, hey, I'm not giving you a choice here, and normally we would have a choice in this scenario. It's a lot more interesting for the later game if we
As your
restore
hand
this
touches
one.
the dim Adra, you feel the same cool, pricking sensation that you did when you touched the pillar near Port Mage.
Don't make an enemy of the Naga.
Concentrate on the pillar. The world around you swiftly falls away, leaving only the vast emptiness of the in-between. The Adra, and a multitude of golden threads undulating off into the distance. For a second time, you gather the threads in your mind and bind them together, forming a solid tether that ripples out toward its distant anchor. Again, a crack sounds from the terminus. Your consciousness is violently pulled along the cord. You are prepared for the sensation this time, but are still disoriented when you come to a sudden stop. You find yourself standing behind a familiar Titanic statue as it trudges through invisible waters. Standing at Aethers' shoulder, your soul is dwarfed by the massive god's form. Energy pulses along the tether, each wave feeding the Adra's movements. He stops. His head cranes behind him, again accompanied by the sound of stone shearing and buckling. His eyes rest upon you. He does not reach for the cord, but considers you for a long span of silence before speaking.
I love these. Every part of these little sequences to me is utterly perfect and a fantastic example of why I'm in love with the series and the storytelling in the game. There is one downside to doing it on stream, and that it's Ashley Johnson's lovely voice work, and she was great in the Critical Role animation as well. It means that I can't read it out loud, and I would love to say things like, standing at Aethers' shoulder, your soul is dwarfed by the massive god's form. Energy pulses along the tether, each wave feeding the Adra's movements. He stops. His head cranes behind him, again accompanied by the sound of stone shearing and buckling. His eyes rest upon you. He does not reach for the cord, but considers you for a long span of silence before speaking.
Your first attempt to contact me was brave. This second attempt, is it born out of desperation or something else? Why do you continue to follow me, Watcher of Cadnua?
Fuck me, I love Aethers' voice. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I love option 2. It's very funny. Now, chat, I understand it has been nearly 2 hours, so this feels a little mean, but please, 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 make a vote for me. Option 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whether you continue to follow me, Watcher of Cadnua. Barath insists. Sorry, 1. Barath insists. 2. You destroyed my castle and ate my soul, jackass. 3. I want to know what you're doing. And 4. I want to prevent you from causing any more harm. I'd like to take that take again, please. Option 4. I want to prevent you from causing any more harm. It's just all of it together. The art, the music, the voice. It's so much gravitas. It's clearly using the art, and I mean the art as a whole, the artistic medium, pulls it all together and tidies it up into such a beautiful package that makes it feel different and separate from the rest of the game around it. Remember that we were focused entirely on mortal concerns earlier, right? How do we climb this wall? Use a grappling hook. And it was the same interface, right? It's just designed differently. Now we're on the right-hand side instead of the left. Now we have multiple voice acting sets of text before we... Luxy. Now we have multiple options that are voiced instead of just plain text. Like, this is attention to detail here. If we had this level of detail on just random encounters, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. So I'm really glad that we have this here right in front of us. And how do you take that to your tabletop games? Honestly, I try to do it, and I don't know if I do it well enough, but I switch tones as well when I'm doing this sort of reading compared to the previous one. When I'm reading box text that's really important, I like to slow down a bit and focus on it. Even if it's supposed to be a combat scene, you've got to use some sort of signifier to say this is an important scene. And I gotta note, there is literally nothing wrong with you holding up a sign that says this is an important scene. Signposting that information allows you and your players to have a more cohesive understanding of what is happening in your game, or in their game as well. Because you can use music in your tabletop role-playing game. You could pull it out. You could use the soundtrack to Pillars, you know. But it's much harder. It's hard to commission art for each thing. Though, Gollum got me this amazing little pin for a Pathfinder game, and I will show you the pin when we finish up here. Anyway, we've got 2 votes for 4, 1 vote for 3. I would like to choose 4. I want to prevent you from causing any more harm.
Though there is no change in his stone visage, there is a long pause before he speaks.
That's a great challenge you've taken on. Why?
1, 2, or 3, everybody. 1. The last time you appeared, it heralded the death of thousands. 2. Well, the gods certainly don't seem interested in watching out for mortals. Or 3. I've decided that it's my responsibility as a watcher. Aethys is the antagonist in this game. But much like many good stories, in fact, so many good stories, perhaps it's even a trope now for this to be the case, we're supposed to question whether he's the villain. He's the antagonist. He's doing things. He's walking across the world. He's stomping on people, sucking at their souls, damaging the Adra pillars, and removing the ability for people to return to the place of return to the wheel. Because he's sucking out, blocking the Adra pillars. What does that mean? Is he a villain, though? We said, I don't want you to hurt anyone else, and his response is to stop and think for a second and ask us why. 2 votes for 2. I'm going to hit number 2, while the gods suddenly don't seem interested in watching out for mortals.
Aethys' gaze turns up as his tears shimmer in the gloom of the in-between.
His tears.
Some of us still care deeply for mortals. We undertook this great experiment out of concern for the people of this world and your future in it. I believe we all had the best of intentions when we began.
Even Wadaka?
Somewhere along the centuries, something broke. Something went wrong. It took me too long to see it, but each day brings a new dawn, and with it, a chance to see the world from the perspective of who you have become. We were not always like this, but I would not want us to go back to what we were in the beginning. There must be something more for us. All of us.
Aethys becomes silent. You can sense his presence advancing back along the cord between you. His energy flows over your hand. Tendrils of light probing into the air around you. They poke and prod at the silent lost souls hovering in your vicinity.
You are in a unique position. In spite of the work of the Leaden Key and Hand Occult, you have seen through our facade. You know the god's true nature.
This is a fucking fantastic move here. I'm fairly certain, I'm near certain, the Hand Occult are only referenced very rarely. While we spent nearly all of Pillars of Eternity 1 interacting with the Leaden Key in their plots and understanding what they did wrong, working through their thing, everything, right? We don't know who the Hand Occult are. But through very clever writing, we understand that they have a similar purpose to the Leaden Key. And just like that, again, we've made the world infinitely bigger. We've made it seem like Slam Shadows does not, and the player, and if we were at a table, the players aren't in control of everything. They don't know everything. And that understanding that the world is big is fascinating and just beautiful. And absolutely worth it.
Without the benefit of your knowledge, few mortals would be willing to accept the true history of their gods. After all, we weren't. The last time I walked Aora, I made a mistake in not revealing my true purpose. I believe you would understand it better than most.
I'm honored.
Yes. I will tell you, but this is not the time. As I take this body farther from the lighthouse, the tether grows weaker, and I have already tarried too long.
We were so close.
Soon this link will unravel completely. If I have not reached my destination when that happens, I will need to pull more souls from your world.
Wait, is that what happened at Hasongo?
It is. When you contacted me from Port Mage, I had to sever my tether to the luminous Adra. Without it, I lacked the strength to reach Hasongo. I pulled souls from the creatures of the ocean and from the people at Hasongo until I could reach the lighthouse.
Is Slam Shadows responsible for the deaths at Hasongo?
The soldiers in Naga there were no threat to me. I did not kill them out of malice, but simply to keep this body moving.
Aethys performed it. Discuss. Well, I am a professor, Luxie. Thing is, I don't do moral philosophy. Currently, I study academic writing and communication. So honestly, I'll be saying, look how effective this communication is. Even though... and we do get some non-verbal communication, but not all of it. Like, in the end, we don't... There are 10 factors of non-verbal communication, and we are barred from olfactory, and But yeah, nearly all of the other ones are there. Anyway, that's cool. Hey, chat. 1, 2, or 3. 1. That's quite a vulnerability. 2. Did I cause you to kill all those people? Or 3. A heartless, pitiless act. How do we feel about how Aethers needs to draw souls from the people around to keep moving towards his goal? Which he said he would do. Which he said he would explain to us, just not now. So in some respect, he also expects us to contact him again. It'll be interesting. Oh, perfect, Column King. What a good time for ads. I know some streamers have their console open so they can run ads at points where they figure it won't be disruptive, and then ads won't automatically jump in at those points, and that's pretty good. I could do that. Except then I'd be alt-tabbing to hit the ads button all the time. Maybe you can do that through Streamlabs. Probably not. Maybe you can do it through the Twitch app, maybe. We've only got one vote. I'll give it another few seconds, because it's not a huge decision. Like, I'm happy to note that I don't think it shuts us off from anything in-game. It may have an effect later, but it's not a terrible one. No, Slam is not responsible. Aethers makes the choice to keep moving at the expense of all these souls. Yes, that's true. Whether or not his purpose is worth all these souls is something we can't decide yet. It's essentially the trolley problem again, right? Because we've got this process that has a cost to it. And you can change the cost from one to another. Does intervention imply responsibility? I think is a good way to do it. Good way to say it. And the idea of the trolley problem is not that it's supposed to be solved, it is that you could make a number of really funny, hilarious memes. Anyway, I think we've waited long enough staring at this option, so I'm going to press number 1. That's quite a vulnerability.
Not a vulnerability, but a dire and terrible limitation. One that I knew before I took this form.
This form that would destroy my castle.
The edges of Aethys' massive form blur and dissolve. The huge figure retreats from you. As it moves, the tether begins to rapidly unravel. As Aethys speaks, his voice sounds garbled, fragmented, and distant.
If you would know more, find me at the Ashen Maw in Margaren's Teeth. I must rest there before I begin my final work. When I leave that place, you will not be able to follow. Before I go, I should return some of this to you. I still have need of the great power of your soul, but I can spare you this portion.
A pulse of energy moves back along the golden cord toward you. It feels familiar, comforting, even before it contacts you. The energy washes over you, flooding you with feelings and memories you had thought long forgotten, until they settle back into the cracks of your soul. And then the tether and cord snap. Aethys' figure evaporating into dust that mingles with the endless gray expanse. Heat rushes over you, and the uncomfortable sensation of the Audra Pillar's presence cuts off. The gloom of the in-between is pierced by the light of the living world. You are back in the lighthouse, no longer dim. The luminous Audra beside you is filled with warmth and light.
Did that work, Naga? New quest. He waits in fire. Naga stare at the glowing Audra, their diamond pupils wide. Sagan turns his gaze to you, his body in a cautious half-coil.
Long have we kept peace with the sand-striped people.
Good neighbors, I say. As long as we do not cross paths in mating season.
But then, the foreign ones came and spread. Killed our people. Built their hives everywhere. We were sure the Godwalker came to cast them out. That driving them away was a holy mission.
Curiosity and consternation simmer in his eyes. What now?
We must go. I know not what this means, but our brethren should hear of it. You show us something new today, Shuffler. Thank you for this.
Oh, shit.
And for your mercy.
He presses something to your palm before departing. Strand of further. No, my apologies for that. I thought we were able to choose, like, find out what he wants to do now and then make another choice about what we do with him. Like, I wanted to say something like, killing people is never a holy mission, you dick. But guess we don't get that benefit, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a cat up here, so I'm going to the top of the tower. Gotta get you a cat. Loxy will kill me if I get attacked. Strand of favor, not fervor. I thought it was fervor. Learn a cat. Corlagon. 5% damage from air attacks. And pet party wide effect. Potion and healing potion abilities. That's good. Should also notice, hey, killed. Adair also has a pet slot, which is a achievement bonus. Just something we immediately chose to have 2 pets following us around at all times. Yes, please. Pet, 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 pet. Love the pet. Extra intellect and buff to bonus to buff duration and debuff penalty. Yeah, diplomacy and mechanics. Pretty normal for slam. We love that slam. It's our favorite. Their putrid stench wafts across, expelling tiny white grubs and crushing nearby enemies and sickening nearby enemies. Oh, power level 4. Holy. Oh, but knock not on the door of Erdle and Girdle. Summon 2 fearsome ogres to fight for the party. Love 2 ogres. Non-offensive evocation. Revives allies in the area of effect. I love just a revive you can do. Rise, rise again, scions of Idon. And face your foes. Good shit. The lover cried out to the beloved, I am yours. Charms the enemies. It charms multiple enemies. That's very useful. Plus, we are a cipher. That one is actually pretty tempting. We get, together they slew forth a river of red. While charmed, enemies deal more damage. We didn't get any of those. I love how this guy's blown in that direction. And then on this one, he's blown across in this direction. Very odd. Very silly. Like, ta-da! Jazz hands. Those 2 people are on different sides of the chorus line. Anyway, I'm going to be less silly. I'm going to try. I'm going to fail at it, but I'll try. Empowers allies in the area of effect with strong and steadfast. The bridemen slew 30 before they crossed half the hall. I have no chance of pronouncing that correctly. Aethers Ulis Mythfear. 50% extra damage Delta's burn. Good. Very useful. Invocation. That's just a passive? That'll be the chant then. A long night's drink birth, the revenge of the morning. Enemies near the chant become weakened and have their might reduced. Give enemies a hangover through the power of your words. That's so evil. Okay. Oh, this one's good too. You can zoom it. Like, this one will be very good for Aloth. Make your fireball smaller, but deal much more damage. Very cool. The Silver Knight's shields broke, both arrow and blade. Cast that, your tank will be even happier. Oh yeah, new power level unlocked. We get 1 for both classes. Okay, well, fantastic. Let's do it. Let's have the charm AoE. Yes, please. We also don't use that one that much. Do you want some more passives though? Next, please. Cypher. Mind Lance. Major pierce damage to the attack. That's pretty good. To all. Stunning target, raw damage, and interrupting all nearby enemies. Just fantastic. That's what we'll take. The level up music is amazing. We love that. Greater focus. And starting focus. Like, that one's just good. But 10 is pretty low, you know? Sing the hangover to be... Yeah, God, I love bards. I know I say it every time we talk about the Chanter class. Or Final Fantasy V's bard class. Or D&D. I just love it. I love the idea of people using art to empower others. Or disempower others. It's fantastic. Aloth, the big nerd, gets extra arcana. Why wouldn't he? God, just 2? Oh, per level, okay, but still. No. My friend, no. You will weaken and terrify enemies, please. That's fantastic. I shouldn't min-max everyone so hard. It's just... feels right. Charge. He gets one of each, since he's a fighter rogue as well. 10% damage for every weapon he's proficient with. Now that sounds useful. Oh, hold on a minute, everybody. One sec. And I'm back. Thanks, everybody. I want to say hi to Emma. She just got home. Preferred party size for CRPGs and JRPGs. Oh, man. So, when your party gets too large, right, it has this... I've noticed this identifier where it seems like they'll, especially if there are lots of available temporary characters as well, it feels like they can treat them with a bit less... Like, do less writing for them? Give them less individuality? Personalize them less? And I don't like that. I think that bugs me more, and that's a bigger question to me. But when it comes to how many people to manage on a battlefield, I actually... Whenever I'm playing something and I deliberately don't have the difficulty turned way down, right? So I've actually got to think about and make tactical decisions for them. 3. 3 is good. Not many, you know? Let's just, perhaps, not think about it too hard and just focus entirely on the thing... on... Yeah, reflex tile, engages to miss, please. Like, I don't want to focus too hard on tactical decision making, and when I am, I want those decisions to matter, so if we're going to go through really slowly and click on each action, I want that to matter, and make it important. But, if I've got the difficulty turned down, and I nearly always do, I want lots of people so that they make lots of comments. And it feels like a lot of the party is involved in this saying lots of things. Like, that feels good to me, to have multiple people involved, and especially when you have lots of people in your, like, available party, but they don't all come to each fight. And, like, sure, sometimes you can't have everyone turn up to every fight. That makes sense. But it always feels weird to have a party size limited so that you can't, like, you're going to do this very important, dangerous thing, but you can't take everyone involved because... reason? That always felt weird to me. Even if they rationalize it, when they rationalize it, it feels much better. It's like, because... not everyone, like, we need some people to protect the rear, or not everyone can fight this way. Yeah, there you go. Additional freeze damage when spirit shifted. Passive, but we love spirit shifting Takehu. And, like, that's fair. It's just, it gets even harder to do party balance when there's more and more people. But I love the people. That's one of the reasons I focus so much on these characters and why we're going to talk to Takehu as soon as we can to learn more about him. and what he feels about the scenario. I love when they interject and talk about things. So the greater chances of me being able to have everyone I like available and I can do all of their quests and hear about who they are, the better. So I guess I'm in two minds. I feel like if I need to think quite tactically about all of that decision making, less. If combat is not the biggest reason the game, or isn't that frequent, or it's just something I can face roll through, and I don't need to think about it, yeah, as many people as possible. But I honestly feel like Pillars 2 needs one more. 6 just feels right. 1, 2, 3,
Can I borrow
4,
a
5.
sword?
5?
I
No,
promise to
come
be
on.
careful.
Come on. Make it an even 6, right? With the formation. It just feels weird. Especially given I've been playing so much Alcat games.
I thought Aethers was too busy kicking over islands to blunt his teeth with mortals.
You like 5, Garfield? Well, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not going to demand, but please enlighten us. Tell me why. Takeru scrutinizes you with an unreadable expression.
What say? You must take something from all this idle chatter with the gods.
Aethys is more curious about me than I was about him. That's not true. Nothing new. I've been at this before.
For what does he listen to you, then? The gods I know are tight of lip and hard of hearing.
Use religion? Mine won't shut up.
Ikera, it makes my head hurt whenever I try to figure out what Ngati wants from me. I could not imagine the inner workings of a god.
He trails off, looking away. Yeah, and we shouldn't be able to. They don't feel otherworldly and different and motivated by other forces. It feels weird to have them.
But then, I am not meant to. It is for mortals to flail in the darkness, I say, while gods point us toward light.
Okay, now we've got another choice. Hey, chats. Still fresh on the genre. 6 is too cluttered and 3 is not enough. Well, like, I think you're totally right there. 6 is very cluttered. It does feel cluttered. And that is also perhaps why in those games I lean more towards passive abilities so they just happen and make me better over, well, without requiring too much effort. But friends. The 4 for JRPGs is right. Final Fantasy IV has 5 party members, and it does feel like a lot. A lot of the time. That's honestly why they keep you around for most of the game, and at the very end you're allowed to have the final 5. And it feels comfortable. It's nice to like have it available for a while, and then that gets taken away over time. That's cool. A bit too much micro avoidance RPGs. Yeah, absolutely. That's why, honestly, a lot of people are like, I want it turn-based. Very rarely is there a CRPG that is played at full speed. It's either real-time with pause, and you pause a lot, or it's turn-based, you know? Because there's a lot of micro involved. And weirdly enough, I'm not super into that. I like to have those choices, but once I feel like I found a pattern that works, I'm going to do that every time. I'm lazy. Even my Elden Ring playthrough, currently, I switched from something that required me to be a bit more tactical and make appropriate dodge decisions to something I can face roll easier. Dagger. Anyway, we got 1 vote for 2, but I'll read out all the options. 1, they have a plan for us. The last thing they need is doubt. And 2, better they let us figure it out for ourselves. 3, I felt that weight of authority before. I have no desire to feel it again. And 4, someone needs the power to shape our future. We got 1 vote for 2. I like this one. This is important. Not only because it will alter how Takeru thinks of us, but it's these dialogue options. I like assuming that Slam Shadows and the player character is being like genuine until you've got a lie marker. Better that they let us figure it out for ourselves. As he weighs your words, Takeru winces a little, and he doesn't like that. Actually, he did like it because we're progressive as well. It's interesting. I don't think that's a bug, but that's an interesting characterization streak we've got here.
To be worshipped. To have others interpret your design.
Takeru sighs, pulling back his hair.
It is not fair, I say.
On the gods or us?
For what should a god worry about such cares, when theirs is the hand on the tiller?
Takeru spreads his palm and frowns. I've got another few options. I'm not picking 5, even though Dead Man would love us to say, enough of this, then we leave. Or 4, thanks for talking to Takeo. That's also not good. We've got one more line, let's do it. But let's read out the options. 1, maybe they worry because their hand is on the tiller. Or 2, are we still talking about Aethers? This is using a stat, and we do love using our stats. That would be insight. 3, wouldn't you worry if you're in their position? And 4 and 5. Stats, exactly, Loxy. Dead man, leave is always the correct option. Especially when talking religion. No, this is a video game. We're allowed to be wild and outrageous and much like in role-playing games, we are allowed to explore things, how our friends feel about things, and talk weighty matters and actions with the people that matter to us in a scenario where we actually understand that we may not agree with the things we're doing. The stakes are much lower. We just pretend they're really high because we're role-playing. And that's great. I don't feel like it strictly makes you a better person, the way some self-help guidebooks say about their own individual activities. I'm not that obsessed. But I think it is worth recognizing that putting yourself in the position of others and learning about why someone would want to say to him, maybe they worry because their hand is on the tiller, option 1. And really recognizing that this potentially, hopefully, well-written character will have his own opinions about why, who the divinities are, what they're about, can help you understand people in real life. It's practicing your empathy, and practice is essentially how we get good at anything in life. And a lot of the time, things we practice are things we get good at, and if we feel like we're naturally, TM, good at something, but maybe we just do that as part of our leisure period. Maybe the things we are good at naturally are just things we practice without feeling like it's practiced too much. As someone who's put in effort to get good at something that I was never good at and didn't do naturally, need to force myself to do all the time, exercise. And I feel like I'm getting pretty good at running. Not amazing, that's for sure, but certainly better than a lot of the other crowd I compare myself to, the people that matter to me. I don't wish I was naturally good at running. And I also kind of recognize that it's just the thing. Getting better was only a matter of allocating time, and that's why time is one of the most precious resources to me. No, that's because I'm able-bodied, you know. Anyway, we've only got one vote, that's for number 2, because it's a stat. Thanks, Loxy. Are we still talking about Aethers? He pauses, blinking at you with a handful of hair pressed between his fingers.
Care, I did not wish to burden you. These days I am having to think harder than my pampered years.
I love you.
You will forgive the handsome fish if he is as curious as the green god.
I love you, handsome fish. He rubs the back of his neck and chuckles.
At least Aethys has you to keep him in check. What happens when we catch up to him is something for future Takeo to worry about.
He smiles wanly. The world around you darkens, and once again you feel an insistent tug for your attention, the pull centering from Takeo's soul. Surrender to the sensation.
Scratch under the wet clay of any artist, and you hatch a lifetime of fear and doubt.
Is that so, Andra? Andra props her chin on her fist and studies Takeo with a sigh.
My boy doesn't fear the gods. He only fears what he'll compromise by living up to his potential. But isn't it easier to let sculptures represent you?
Loxy, I'm going to point you towards this line from Andra. Scratch under the wet clay of any artist and you hatch a lifetime of fear and doubt. Yeah. Yes.
Poor thing. Nothing he does could disappoint me. But that is a mother's prerogative.
She pulls away with a wet slapping sound. You receive the mental impression of a wink. The world reasserts itself all around you. Takeo wears an uncertain smile, tipping his head inquisitively. I love sad fish artist, arrogant, sexy boy. That's incredible. It's fucking incredible writing. I love him. He's written so well. He's fascinating. He's a great companion. He's not my favorite in the game. he's here. I love what he's into. I just find him fascinating. Oh, bye, doggo. Better leave. The Rautines are really angry at you for killing all their friends.
Many in the water.
Oh, Aloth, my friend.
Had another one of your talks there, didn't you? You gonna share details, or do we gotta guess?
I have known priests to go mad from too much incense, but speaking with a god has not left such a deep scar in you.
Tsuke who cranes his neck to scrutinize you.
I was rather hoping someone else would bring that up.
Hello, all of the party demanding information. This is very good as well. We spoke about it at length in Pillars 1 playthrough, so I suggest go check out those VODs because despite the bad sound quality, it's still really good story. And I talk about this subject a lot. You can have role-playing games with a single main character, and it is actually pretty interesting and very funny if you have a standard role-playing group. Pathfinder, 1st, 2nd, D&D 5th doesn't work nearly as well, to be honest. You get the main character slightly worse stats than all the other side, like companions, right? And then you tell your players, hey, we're going to set up this game. One of you are going to be the main character making important plot decisions. The rest of you, I'd like you to think about yourself as really interesting and inventive companions. Each of you should design your own companion quest. When you complete it, you'll get a stat bonus. Some sort of cool thing. And then, like, it's a lot of pressure to put on the person who's considered the main character, but fun. Deadman did it once. It was supposed to turn into a much longer game than it turned out to be, but great idea. Love to do it again at some point.
You don't look like you're gonna be sick this time, so I take it that's a good sign?
6 options. Deadman picks 3. 1. Aethers is heading to a place called Magrin's Teeth. 2. I'm doing fine, really. 3. Shrug. I'll live. 4. It's strange, feeling part of my soul in the body of a god. 5. More than ever, I'm determined to find Aethers. And 6. Aethers is not what I expected. 1 is very factual? Yeah, exactly. And it's cool. You think it's kind of taciturn as well? Aethers is heading to a place called Magrin's Teeth. Yeah, it is. Right? Hilariously, this is about the last time I played this game, the last time I played it through, this... I left Hasongo, and then I stopped doing the main quest for like a couple of weeks. Because, story-wise, I didn't notice at the time, but it actually makes a lot of sense. And when Aethers says, I need to rest before I get on with it, I felt like a lot of the narrative pressure was off me. He's headed towards Magrin's Teeth. I won't be able to stop him. He said meet me there. And I'm like, alright, cool. I'm going to go do all the side quests in the game. And that is also hilariously what we're going to do. But I do need to check up on something else. Yeah, not nearly tested it as 2 or 3. That's 2. Just shrug. I'll live. Do we have a vote, anyone? Otherwise, I'll press my favorite button, and I will. It's just like a... Please picture a bear inside my skull with a control panel in front of him. And, like... There's a button that just says float. And he's just hammering that. And I like that image too, because I'm taking it from a comic that is a goose. Press a slut. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Luxie. You're 120% correct. No, slut is actually more appropriate, let's face it. One leads to the other. Hopefully. And I'm taking it from the comic that is a goose inside a brain of another goose that's hitting buttons, one of which is marked honk. It's just perfect. I'm going to choose 4. It's strange, feeling part of my soul in the body of a god. The dare frowns thoughtfully.
Well, where's my god headed now?
And he better have a damn good explanation when he gets there. I love that. Or, he's going to Magrin's Teeth. Does that sound dangerous to you? Because it sounds dangerous to me. Honk. Yeah. I want to use I'm going to hit 5. Like, I'd love to use the stat of Magrin's Teeth as a notoriously perilous chain of volcanoes, but honestly, we don't learn anything more other than Slam seeming smug. So I'm going to hit 5. He's going to Magrin's Teeth. Does that sound dangerous to you? Because it sounds dangerous to me.
Don't lose your nerve on me now. What's he gonna do? Kill you again? Yeah, I guess he might.
I love you, Adair. End dialogue. Oh, also, Kibbled, you probably missed out, but I think it was last episode or maybe the one before. We said, "Hey, Adair, do you think I'm pretty? Do you want to hit on me? Is that a thing?" And he was like, "I'm straight, dude. I'm real sorry. Look, if I were gay, I'd be happy to. That'd be fantastic." And then I got to wax lyrical about how I've been on the receiving end of that conversation at least once. I meaning Jimbles, not Slam Shadows. I think perhaps at least one of the writers of Pillars is queer and understands what that emotion is like. Good thing that there are now people involved in the industry that can tell these parts of the story, these stories. Imagine if we did not have any positive examples like that, and no one seemed...
Do you need something? If not, I should focus.
You have nothing else to say. The Naga are gone. No, not even a thank you? God, I wish you had more stuff that I could just steal from you as punishment. Which, is again, is pretty mean. Not super nice. Not very appropriate. Very funny. Please take a look at this again. Look at how they're all slowed. Look at how Takehu is not. Doesn't that just make sense? Isn't that just sweet? God, I love it when shit just works. I love it when things are designed and make sense. Why would the difficult...
Scale-bellied cowards! I knew they'd run!
Uh-huh. Hey, Zahira.
Look at our beacon. Even the Colossus couldn't destroy it. And those snakes aren't so tough now, are they?
She looks up the lighthouse, giddy with relief. I think you mean good job.
Of course.
She nods, but she's still staring up at the lighthouse. Loxy, I'm glad you agree. See, Alof didn't like that at all, but Takehu totally did. She finally turns to you.
The Hanzanui will want to thank you personally for your help here. And she should also know what we're up against.
She eyes the dawn stars in the crater's footprint. Actually, I'm headed to Magrin's Teeth.
Looking for a real challenge after what you did to those scale bellies?
She laughs, a brittle edge creeping back into her voice.
The only thing I know about the place is it's supposedly made of fire. And no one's ever come back from it.
She swallows, fear making hollows of her eyes.
But anything can be overcome.
She smiles grimly. Where can I find Hasongo?
She's usually at the Brass Citadel in Nekataka. Though she gets called to the palace often, haggling with the Queen and the Valians.
Farewell.
Clear skies.
She crosses the forearms over her chest. So, like, this is deliberately setting you back towards Nekataka, right? Because they don't want you to do all of the city in 4 or 5 episodes of a live stream, and that's fair. What are those hicks doing? Knew our work in the Deadfire would not be easy. Still, we did not expect this. Yeah, no one really expects a god to possess a giant statue and stomp all of its way across most of the world. Find who you're looking for, dear? You have no idea that he's looking for someone.
The light of Aethers be upon you, neighbor. Are you looking for survivors?
Unlike the other survivors you've seen, this young man, despite a haggard look and a set of dirt-smeared, tattered clothes, wears a calm face and speaks with a steady voice. Are you one of the children of the Dawn Stars? My friend is looking for someone you may know.
Short lady, about my age, came from Deerwood with her son. Let's see, freckles, braids usually. Punches you in the arm if she likes you, face if not. Oh, and that's if you're lucky.
No, that doesn't sound like anyone.
The young man's face remains smooth, betraying neither surprise nor interest. Is there someone else we might ask?
I don't think you'll have much luck around here. I know all my neighbors.
That's weird, Burn. Really? Keep out of trouble. You hear, Shorty? Aethers, light our path. Yeah, seriously, we have, like...
Light of Aethys be upon you.
Right.
No, I don't...
Nope. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna ask literally any of the Dawn Stars, huh? The game is, again, pushing us back towards Nekataka because I don't want you to do all of it at once. More quests open up as we spend time elsewhere. Oh, what was that? Captain Uway from the Royal Deadfire Company. Maritime Captain. Lots of junk going on. Okay, let's just try and leave. Maybe we can... Nope. Okay. Look, I tried. Hasongo is a mound of wreckage on the horizon. We see a dozen junks sailing towards you. I've had dreams like that. Even at this distance, you can tell they are making good speed. Yes, they are. I don't know if I could take a whole dozen at once. Let alone a baker's dozen. Maybe a butcher, a candlestick maker, though. One of the ships pulls up alongside yours, and a well-dressed armored man approaches the edge of the deck. You recognize that Sura, the Grand Secretary of the Royal Deadfire Company. It is good to see you again. I see you continue to leave a mark. He is gazing towards Hasongo with a peculiar smile. The Adra beacon, visible even here, shines brightly. Though it surprises me that you are still stranger to many in Nekataka. I suspect that will soon change. What is this about? I want to extend the thanks of the Royal Deadfire Company for what you've done here. He raises one hand toward the Adra beacon. You've restored a valuable asset. Whether or not that was your intention, he gives you a quick, sly smile. The others at the palace will want to hear of this, no doubt, and you may as well take credit while the deed is fresh. There's no time. Aethys went to Ashen Moor in Magrin's teeth, so I must follow it. It's as though his cold wind is blowing over the deck. At the mention of Magrin's teeth, the Rautai sailors stare at you in shock and horror. Those who are not frozen with their mouths agape are whispering fearfully amongst themselves. Atsura silences them with an unreadable glare. He turns back to you with a brittle smile that does not reach his eyes. Forgive my compatriots. Magrin's Teeth is a volcanic chain along the northeastern edge of the Deadfire. It is also among the most treacherous places in the archipelago. He casts a glance back at the anxious sailors. Ejaculate! Sorry, did I say ejaculate instead? Maybe I should have. There is a lot of junk flying towards us all at once. We may drown. The waters around it are patrolled by giants said to be born of Magrin's own volcanoes. Even our well-armed ships do not venture there. He tilts his head in apology. But I suspect Queen Onakaza could direct you to Ashen Moor if you're set on going there. All the more reason to visit her palace. He smiles cryptically. Go to Servant's Crown in Nekataka, and later come and see me at the Brass Citadel. We can discuss your progress with you. Issues of mutual interest there. He nods. At any rate, I have much to attend to, and it seems you do as well. Clear skies, Captain Slam Shadows. Atsura nods as his crew makes ready to sail once more. Okay. Desawa the shark. I think we have something for her? No, I previously was like, I think we do, but we may not. Anyway, Port Mahe, return to Sansa. Oh, we've charted both the islands already. Cool. Subtle hints of the game switch could go to Nekataka. Yes, absolutely, but hilariously.
Blink and find yourself standing in the knee-high grass of an endless field.
Hilarious.
The day just falling into dusk.
Hilariously, Luxie, I say again, it's also trying to tell you that you can't, this is the game signposting that you cannot go chase Aethys right now. And that's good writing, because you want your divinity to be like, I don't give a shit if you go talk to the political factions here that they have no interest in me. I'm interested in essentially one mortal in specific and all of them in general. I don't care about the rest of them. Do it your thing, right? That's good. That's very divine of you. But then how do you stop players from going, well shit, I need to chase this god. I need to chase him down immediately. You got to stack up foes and challenges and things in their way so that they get the hint to go do some side quests. Like, even if they don't do everything that's in their quest log right now, you go back to Nekataka and perhaps there's one or two that interest them. And then they'll do those, and they're less likely to go directly to the next plot thing. So even if you're not 100%ing the game, you're still getting a lot of playtime in, making you feel like the time in this world is well spent.
Then, the earth falls away. The wind ceases, and you are sent tumbling up into the dark of the sky.
Watcher.
The voice of the Pallid Knight shakes the earth at your feet.
God, I love talking to the divinities.
You have returned to Bareth's realm. Your soul once more called to attend the wishes of the god of death.
This shit again? No, we're gonna go with, I'm starting to look forward to these chats.
You can't be certain, but you think you might see the barest hint of a smile tugging at the edges of the Pallid Knight's lips.
Once again, you have spoken with the Child of Light.
Yes.
Tell me what you have learned.
Hey chat, 1, 2, 3, or 4? 1. He makes Hamagrin's teeth. 2. He's still smashing his way across the dead fire, destroying everything in sight. 3. I have nothing new to report. Or 4. Say nothing. To me, it's an important distinction. How do we feel about the other divinities? What information are we telling them? How does it matter? Flirt with death. Flirt with death! I mean, we did, Luxie. Quite deliberately. I'm starting to look forward to these little chats between you and I. I'm not sure if the microphone picks up Marvel on the other side of the house, chasing after a ball and, growling at it. She's such a good dog. Looking for more votes. We've got 1 vote for 1. You want perfectly edited and professional streams where you can hear nothing other than the video game, huh? You get to hear a dog. It's amazing. Alright, I'm gonna pick number 1. That's approximately 16 times lighter than my voice. Yeah, it's a squeaky toy. Oh, Garfield Car, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to activate your dog. That's terrible. Can activate this dog too. Oh, no. I feel guilty for winding up your dog. He makes some Margaret's teeth.
Intriguing.
The Pallid Knight stares past you, pensive.
I am delighted by the idea. I do also think it's very funny when some viewers, their cats are wound up by Captain walking in and meowing. That's pretty funny to me, though I do feel guilty for winding them up.
Wal, attend. Tell me what your many eyes perceive.
Her words ring out, and a heavy silence descends.
It's not the first time Wal has appeared on the scene, but God, I love Wal.
In the silence breaks the murmur of countless voices. They speak all at once in languages both known and unknown to you.
This is a result of choices you made in Pillars of Eternity.
In the space beside Bareth, an eye blinks open, followed fast by several more. They are round, keen eyes of Kith, the slit eyes of snakes, the small, dark marbles of birds, the bulbous lanterns of deep-sea fish.
Here we are.
A figure walks through the cloud of eyes as one might step through a door. It is an Orlan, then a pale elf, an ocean human, a Naga, each of them eyeless. They are Wal.
This is the first interesting thing to happen in ages, and we do so love a riddle.
The figure wears an Amawa's grin, and the many voices beneath its own titter.
Yes, it's so interesting when hundreds of Kith die so Aethers can take a stroll.
Some things must be lost to be found again. You knew that once, when you buried my scroll beneath the earth in Black Meadow. But it seems you have forgotten.
Yes, while we did that, that was a good idea. Thank you for interfering. But honestly, there's a difference between things and people's lives.
We have read the book of your life, Watcher. It is heavy with the weight of your choices, and its pages are not unmarred by the blood of others. You reap, but on a smaller scale. We see between the strings of the world, and Aethers is there, strumming them like a lute. His tongue is still, yet he sings of a coming joy. What tune he plays, we do not know. It is complex, ever-shifting. One moment vibrating in harmony, the next in discord.
A man strides through the door to Bareth's realm. Behind him lope wolves with lolling tongues, and jungle cats whose long tails twitch with every step. Galawain, the changeling, arrives, and he brings with him the wild heart of Aora's untamed places. Fast on Galawain's heels, a small wave of seawater washes across the tiles. It pours off the edge of the platform and cascades down into the beyond. From out of the water rears a glowing lure, then the head of a gigantic fish. The round black eyes of Andra roll to meet yours.
My gift bearers bring to me that which kith most want to forget, and in their memories I see you as Wild does. You are the one who leaves chaos in his wake.
Calm down.
You knew one of them once, my gift bearers, Maneha. She longs to forget and to help others do the same. But when given the chance to aid her, you did not.
Maneha, she had regrets, but she didn't want to forget them at the very end.
You are a capricious creature, like Aethers.
Andra's storm-black eyes roll away from you.
Aethers is nothing if not resourceful. I admire his nerve.
We convinced Manahan not to forget her memories.
In the changeling's voice, you hear the soft patter of rain on leaves and the rush of wind through treetops.
Aren't you worried?
No. He is a creature of the pack, left long alone. Without our strength behind him, he's weak.
Yeah, we definitely aided, but again, the divinities, it's important for them to stay in their purview. Andra wants people to forget things. We didn't help her forget. Why would we do that? She simply cannot understand. Divinities and even demigods should have trouble understanding things that are outside of their purview. That's honestly the best interpretation so far about what makes them different to mortals. The ability to change. And have free will. Cheers, Dress and Falls.
If his journey leads him back to us, he has proved himself worthy of return to the fold.
Back to you? You helped blow him up. Not all of you.
Aethys does not return to us. He returns to execute some grand plan. We must stop him.
Andra's voice rises like a tide, panic riding its crest. The doors lining the walls of Bareth's realm slam open in unison. Warped pieces of ancient armor and the remnants of discarded weapons roar through the doorways. They meet in the center of the room, in a shower of sparks, and form the vague figure of a man. Finally, a blacksmith's sledge hurtles past your shoulder, and the figure snatches it from the air. A man made half of metal and half of ruined skin stands before you. The rounded metal of a well-worn shield makes up most of his skull, his right eye socket, and jaw. His mouth is pulled forever into a half-grimace.
If Aethys has something foolish planned, perhaps we can turn him from that path and set him down a more productive one.
Abaddon's words crash and screech together, like long steel gears forced to movement for the first time in centuries.
Luxy.
Abaddon speaks with a child's naivety.
The other gods don't seem too concerned.
He violates not their realms, but mine. I feel his urgency in every stamp of his feet along my spine.
It's very dramatic, right, Luxy?
I will send tsunamis to slow him, if Mogren would stir the earth beneath Mogren's teeth.
Why don't you ask Mogren then?
The water at your feet recedes.
Shit, here she is.
Lava oozes up through the shallow water, and a woman made from the guts of the earth emerges. She settles her characteristic broadsword on her shoulder and sighs a cloud of smoke and ash. Magrin returns.
In the age when our steps carved valleys across the face of Aeora, our bodies were impervious to all but the strongest attacks.
That's why you helped build a nuke, right?
I doubt fire and water will be enough to stop him.
Yeah, or fitties? Fitties? Yeah, that counts.
But I will bear down upon Aethers with all the heat and fury of the earth.
Thousands of
if I must.
Thousands of kith will die.
The death of thousands now could prevent the death of millions later.
But you don't know if you'll save millions. You might kill thousands for nothing.
Dark, inky tears fall from Andra's eyes.
Sacrifices of the few protect the futures of the many. You cannot let your petty mortal feelings blind you to the urgency of the dilemma Aethys has thrust upon us.
My petty mortal feelings are the only reasons your wrists don't chafe in Wadika's shackles.
You will mind upon whose ground you tread.
The pallid night watches you with keen, predatory eyes. The deep, bellowing cry of an aurochs shakes the ground beneath your feet. The cry drones on and on, a moan without end. Wal's many eyes squeeze shut. Andra slips back beneath her waves. Magrin dissipates in a swirling cloud of steam. Galawain's beasts cower and whine. Only the pallid night stands impassive.
My end comes to all things in time. Should Aethys care to hasten the inevitable, I welcome his efforts.
If he hopes to bring about the end of the world, he'll die too.
The Child of Light will not choose the hour of my death.
Magrin tests the edge of her broadsword with a smoldering finger.
He sows chaos in his longing for a radiant dawn. So much will be lost in the cacophony of fear his actions inspire.
The crack of thunder rends the air. The gods fall silent.
We can wait no longer to act. Speak with him, Watcher. Discover what it is he plans.
It's not like I have a choice.
To live is a choice, and you yet draw breath. Drink deep of the air, Watcher. We have work yet to do.
The warmth of the pallid night's breath blows soft on the back of your neck, though she stands nowhere near you. Water begins to creep across the floor. It swells, runs swiftly, and catches at your ankles. You scrabble at the tiles, but it's no use. The current's pull drags you off the edge of Bareth's realm and into the fathomless beyond. You splash down in water so dark you can't see the bottom. Then, the water recedes, gone like a dream upon waking. The hard wood of your cabin's floor presses against your spine. The gods are gone, but you remain.
Oh, pillars. Oh, pillars. Quest added from the wreckage. Quest updated. He waits in fire. And here we are in our ship.
I got this. I got this. Hey there. Sure.
It is particularly weird that we cannot talk to... Like, we're definitely supposed to be able to talk to her. It's a little odd that we can't talk to the steward. Like, we're supposed to be the ship now. And she can give us information. You want to ask us something, Maya?
I should come clean about something, Captain.
Maya scratches the back of her head, sighing. Is this where you betray me, Maya?
What? No. I mean, what?
Perplexed, Maya shakes her head.
Atsura didn't set me loose just so I could stay busy. Fact of the matter is, He gave me a job to do.
A job, you say?
I've got this stack of missives I need to deliver. Noble errand, right?
She shows you a small collection of scrolls in a pack, all judiciously sealed with the sigil of the Royal Deadfire Company.
The company has a lot of people working away from headquarters, and Atsura trusted me to get these in the right hands. I hope that isn't a problem.
What's in these missives?
A bit of everything. Shipping manifests, requisitions for supplies, work orders. Mostly work orders. You wouldn't believe how much paperwork it takes to run a navy.
I ran a grand estate for a time. I have an idea.
Ah, yes. Making good with the locals, paying off bounties. Maybe Aethers did you a favor when he stepped on Cadnua.
She chuckles to herself. Seraphim and Takeru love that.
I didn't actually mean that.
Anything else I should know about this job of yours? Reaching back to tighten her bun might take some moment to consider your question.
Don't take it personally if I'm vague on some of the details. Atsura likes his discretion, even when it comes to boring bureaucratic stuff.
As long as it's nothing I should worry about.
The second that I need you to worry, you'll know. Count on it.
She closes one eye and makes a friendly trigger-pulling motion at you. Alright, thank you.
This one's bound for Harama, an acquaintance. Good sailor. He's somewhere off in Tikawara.
She holds up a single scroll.
And these are for Tuaha, an old friend stationed in Port Maje. You meet some strange types in the Navy.
Let's be off. Alright, yeah, we can deliver some things, easy.
If you be having a tick, Cap, I'll be thinking that, if I be dragging you into these depths, you deserve the full sounding.
Kibble, you're also gonna like Seraphim too. Flirty blue, all in my favorite. This is about Romaro. I take it. This is about Romaro, I take it? I'm happy to listen.
When I were a wee swabby, fresh to the sea, it were Romaro that showed me the ropes and rigging. More than that, he, kept his weather eye open for me.
He might be Luxy. I haven't had a chance to ask. He plucks at the fur on his elbow.
The sea be a right poxy ore on occasion, and life aboard the Sorcerer, that and more. Malnash, our ship hunter, she were all, wet and bothered for doing me harm. And Romaro, he protected me.
Did not notice Emma enter the room, so when she put down, like, I think it was a cup of tea, I jumped to the side. A cat has been placed in front of the screen. Anyway.
Men taught me too. Learned me letters and navigation. Handed down the Principe traditions. In time, we became close as kin or closer. And the Sorcerer, my family.
He told me a lot about the two of you, but not much about him.
Fair. He be of old Valian stock. A good man and righteous. Not honest, of course, but honourable. Were our shipboard sawbones, more than half handy at it.
He smiles and rubs his upper right arm.
More than one swabby behind the old salt of deferral from the wheel.
Are you romantically involved? We've actually already asked him this, but hey, Kibble's here.
Why, Cap? You be feeling a bit of the old envy?
He grins, bumping his eyebrows twice in quick succession. Hey, that's my trick.
Nay, we never shared a bunk. Not that I'd have kicked him out of a hammock, but, like I said, we be family. He never took advantage.
Thank you, I'm glad you shared that.
Aye. Do right by it, and I won't be regretting it. Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
It's 10, so let's not start dialogue with a new character. Let's just... So, Seraphim, flirt.
Aye, Cap.
Oh my god, all those are so good. Luxy. You're not exactly subtle about this. You want this so much. I'll add something to it. Let's see. Let's go. A lover in every port must be nice, but wouldn't you prefer one shipboard?
You be saying that like it be an either or.
Rats. Well, it's got us there. Oh, hey, Emma. Alright. Farewell, Seraphim. Seraphim salutes and turns away. We'll chat more with our good friend Seraphim soon. We've got some to care her. And we'll go downstairs and talk to our other companions to see if they have anything more to add. But we will do that next week, my friends. And I'm afraid we are finishing for tonight. That was a good run of Pillars of Eternity on a Monday night. Pillars night. Fled again. It wasn't an option. We get one flirt per time we get on the ship and chat to him, so we'll have to again soon. 3 is pretty excellent. Look, how about I'll repeat some of these flirting lines to other people and other games and maybe other people in real life, and we'll see what happens, right? Is that cat called Worthless Idiot? No, that was an imp called Worthless Idiot, and he's our navigator. He's a 4-star navigator. It's not a cat. I know at least one cat that I would name Worthless Idiot. Marvel is currently out of 60 stars. No! So mean, Golem King. What do you have against imps? Is it because when we picked him up and put him on the ship, he threatened to throw poop at us? Marvel, into your bed. Come on. Good girl. Why are you trying to jump on the chair? Very strange dog. No more than one cat you call him. Yeah, that's true. Well, everybody, it is a little later than normal, and I think we should finish up for the night so I can go exercise and or do a little bit of study. Right? Yes, I've showed them the cup many times. Yay. They love it. Fucking love it. You've already received cheers for that, Emma. But hey, I had a really good time this Monday night. It was very good. I had 1 of 4. Oh my god. Golem King, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I sincerely hope that Twitch pays me so I can... I'm going to give you money. Oh, that's the life of a professional streamer, my friends. This is all your fault. You've made me so popular that Twitch is like, oh, gotta put ads on this floaty, sexy man who keeps encouraging people to take illicit drugs. Sorry, Corey. This is a good person to sell things like Fortnite on. Anyway, lovely time tonight. Lovely to have all of you. Lovely to see you again very much. You want to see the cup? It's right here. Here's the cup. And here's the pup. That is the pup is in the cup. Anyway, I will catch you all again very shortly. I want to shout out to my other friends who are streaming in, which Deadman is very good at doing, and I keep forgetting every time. But I could recommend a good friend, Full Security, who is still doing art streams and recently completed 1 year of streaming, and that's very impressive. I'm very happy with that. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much. But I'll also shout out to my good friend Kobold, who also does art. The chip industry is trying to downplay climate change for normalizing. I'm very weird. There you go. No more ads for you, Gollum. Otherwise, I'll see you Wednesday night for more Final Fantasy V. And as I said to a friend, we're about 3/4 of the way through the game, I'm pretty sure. So that'll be good. I'm quite excited to finish Final Fantasy V, move on to Final Fantasy VI, and then we're going to take a bit of a break from the Pixel games. Cup. Pup. Pup in a cup. There you go. And we'll jump straight up to Stranger of Paradise. For the love of God, show the cup. Cup. Pup. Wait, do you mean my mug? The one I put in the dishwasher? Okay, no. Alright, cool. You hate it? Wow. It's so cute, though. You just squeeze the cup and you get a pup. It's blocked by ads. That's so good. That's fucking hilarious. We just kind of essentially edged you all fucking night talking about the pup in a cup. You love it enough to counter the hate. That's true. Maybe Kibbled just hates the ads. That would be worth it. I love that it flicks out at the very end there. That's so good, right? Okay, so slowly emerge. One hand, then the tongue, then another hand. And then it kind of flicks up from the back because it puffs out. I can see one eye raising up and moving towards you. Now that's a nose, that's not an eye, never mind. And then finally, pop. The cookie. Why is the pup trapped in a cup? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to regret this. Why am I doing this?
keyboard.
That's true. I'll just turn the keyboard off.
No, and your microphone.
And the microphone. And now.
This is... Why?
Hold on. We can do this. Okay, that's enough. I'm rating. Well, I'm sending over to Cobalt. Have fun, everybody. It's not nearly as bad as if we like broke open a coconut, but it's pretty funny. Okay, let's go.
Jimbles. Who's Cobalt curious?
That was at the... That's friend from James and Dev's wedding.
Drew?
His wife.
Right. So Cobalt curious is Laura.
Laura, that's the one, yeah. Yeah, cool.
Can you hear?
No, I actually can't.
They said good luck with your studying, Jim.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
It's 9:15, and it's past my bedtime, but I need a little help